Hey guys, thanks for listening to The Cynical Nerd. Please keep in mind that we do not avoid spoilers for any of our topics, whether they are current or past media. Listen at your own risk.
Oh, damn it.
I literally just woke up.
Oh yeah, that's excellent.
I had like an emergency alarm set because I know you said 8, and I was like, if I have dinner and like sit down on the couch, I'm probably gonna nod off.
Yeah.
So I put a little alarm. I was like, I probably won't need this because even Sam knows what time. And then all of a sudden, doodly-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, and I'm like, oh, fuck. And I'm like, oh, it's 8:10. And you had just said like 4 minutes ago. 4 minutes before that, ready to go. And I'm like, oh, I didn't miss it by that much. Thank God you weren't ready like a half hour early. Yeah. I was just like sleeping on the couch.
My alarm, like my sleepy brain always fucks with me every single morning. When I like hear my alarm going off in my head, I'm like, there must be some mistake here. It's definitely not time to get up yet. Let me just check my phone and sort this out really quick. It's a heartbreak every morning. Yeah, it's a bad way to start the day.
That's gonna be super sad.
Yeah, it is.
You're like, oh, something's. Oh, I don't want to.
Can I tell you something? Can I confess something to you?
I want you to tell me something.
Okay. So, I broke a promise to myself, and that I didn't make it to anyone else. I made it to myself.
Gotcha.
And I purchased Bloodborne because it was $8.
Okay.
And I thought there's just no excuse to not get it. It's only $8. If I don't like it, then I'm out of $8. Big fucking deal.
Ocho dineros.
All I wanted in the world was to be able to come onto this podcast and be like, man, I've really been a snob about this FPS thing, and it wasn't that bad.
Oh, no.
No, dude. It's like, I'm not saying I'm not going to play it because that's absurd, but like, I'm going to try to see if my brain adjusts to it, but I felt so fucking nauseous by the end of my session, which was only like an hour last night.
You have to go to the dump now that you paid $8 for a game that plays at 30 FPS and buy they're called CRT monitors.
Right. Of course.
For the kids, and I'm just kidding. I know you know what a CRT is. This is episode 71. I like this like I was counting it out, but I'm not counting it out. 71. There we go.
Right.
A 7 and a 1.
Yeah.
As my son used to say when he was smaller and couldn't talk right yet. Seder. He would say instead of 7, it was Seder. No one cares about that but me. Yeah.
I love it.
We have things to talk about. I would say you probably got as many frames out of Bloodborne as Bethesda got out of their Starfield demo. Taking shots.
Got him.
Step back from the 3, shooting it.
I mean, my new Elgato face cam has twice as many frames per second as
Bloodborne. There you go. I'm excited to get it into. I told you this last week. I was like, oh my God, I've never been excited that I'm going to have extra editing work this week. And by extra editing work, I mean one small change where normally I have written down the exact dimensions.
Oh, and now it's all fucking ruined.
Position of video and zoom level and how much I crop in the tops and sides to fit the frames on, our template. Yeah, so I have to take it'll take me like an extra 5 minutes. But I'm so excited to do that because now you got a much better fucking camera.
It looks great. There's a lot of frames. You can get a lot of parries out with this many frames. You know what I'm saying? Only way to play the game.
A lot of iframes. Okay, I just want to jump in because I don't have a lot of wit about me right now. I'm hoping it comes back as my brain readjusts to the land of the living.
That's why I'm drinking Claws, baby. Sometimes it just brings it out.
I was going to say, I have this. So, okay, first and foremost, announcement.
You hit me with it.
I am the proud owner of a sous vide. I know that you know this already.
I already know.
No one else knows this. Nothing says middle-aged father more than being excited that my wife got me a sous vide as an early Father's Day gift. So, sorry. We've been talking about it in our little friends group chat. And
sounds weird when you say it like that. Little friends group chat.
Well, I don't want to say rat chat because everyone's like, "What the fuck is that?" It is called rat chat, okay? And
we're changing it to little friends group chat now, though. That's
I don't. It's creepy. I don't like that. Not like the mistake I made earlier. So we were talking about sous vide, and I don't know about you, but the topics I like to watch YouTube videos about tend to often have nothing to do with things I do in real life. And by that, I mean, like, I watch people do like stealth camping videos. Like there's a channel for this guy Mav made it. He like camps out of his truck. He's got like a cooking station set up in a truck. I would never do that, but I think it's neat.
Yeah.
And I envy his ingenuity and his freedom to be able to do that kind of shit, and it's pretty neat to watch. Same goes with like I don't consider myself like a cooking enthusiast. I know how to cook like 2 things, a grilled cheese sandwich and a steak, and that's about it. And the second one I had to work at. But I watch a lot of cooking videos, and I don't know why. It's just a fun thing. And there's a channel from Guga Foods called Sous Vide Everything. Shout out to Guga. He'll never ever hear this, but he's a cool dude.
Thanks, Guga.
And he's the kind of YouTube channel that's like, we bought $3 Walmart steaks and I made them taste like Wagyu. Like, you know, that's a crazy exaggeration, but I'm pretty sure he's tried. His like whole goal is like to do crazy experiments. And I had never really delved into the arena of sous vide. I didn't really know what it was or how it worked. When I watched it, I was instantly captivated, and it's so super. I don't know if you're serious or not.
No, I'm 100% serious. I was hoping you could give me like the 101.
It's super easy. It's cooking food in water.
That's
like
what I thought. So you just like you have a pot, and then you stick the sous vide in the water, and it just does it. Is that it?
Episode 71, sous vide. Yeah. So typically people will get like one of those vacuum sealers to so they'll like for example for steak, I would season the steak, put it in a bag, vacuum seal it, and then I have already set the temperature for the sous vide, water bath to 129 or whatever you want your cooking temperature to be. You put the steaks in, cover it, leave it. There's a certain amount of time you have to leave it for pasteurization and all that good stuff. So for example, for me, I picked up like 1.5 inch steaks to cook tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna have to leave them in there for a little over 2 hours. But the cool thing about sous vide is that you set the water temp to 129. Those steaks will never overcook. They'll never go past 129. They're not gonna keep heating up into oblivion. So it's not like I can leave it in the pan too long and overcook it. There's a little bit to be said about like after 5 hours, the texture can change and people don't like that. But we'll put them in there. They'll cook to that. You pull them out. For steaks, pat them dry just so the sear, so it doesn't, because if the steaks are wet, you can't sear them for shit. Put them in a pan, or some people use a blowtorch, like a kitchen torch, handheld torch.
Should do that. That sounds cool.
I bought one.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's incredible. YouTube video incoming.
They took they put a crust on it, and that's it. It's done. But the whole point with sous vide is that it makes the food really tender. It cooks to the exact right temperature. It's like a better version of reverse searing almost with a steak. Yeah. Like I'm pre-cooking it. You don't even have to let it rest because it's already come up to temp and the sear's at the end instead of the beginning. Yada, yada, yada. Anyway, very long and everyone's already turned off this episode of the podcast, but I bought that, and much because I try not to do anything in my life half-ass, even if it doesn't matter. For example, we both have Shure SM7Bs. And I, honest to God, I would have a lovely Canon XLR fucking webcam, or camera to capture video if they weren't thousands of dollars. I have a nice gaming computer. I don't like to, if I'm gonna get invested in something, I like to have that something be nice.
Yeah.
So she bought me the sous vide as the present, and then on the way home today, I stopped and picked up the steaks, and I was like, look, I've been fighting the urge to get the vacuum sealer because it's like another $100. And I got home and I was like, this is how I positioned it to Samantha. And then we'll actually go into things we usually talk about, like video games and movies.
Right, of course.
I said, listen, hun, I, much like Dave Grohl, I have a confession to make. And she said, what? That's like the 5th time I've done that on this podcast. And I said,
I can't wait for the 6th.
I said, I'm going to make I'm going to spend more money. And she started laughing. And I was like, this is your fault. You know that I don't half-ass anything. I bought the Falcon and I was like, it needs lights. It needs a display case.
Of course.
There's always hidden costs with any project I undertake. I was like, we got the sous vide. I keep seeing everybody say it's okay to use like Ziploc bags and try to displace all the air.
No.
And I'm like, I need a fucking vacuum sealer. I have to get the vacuum sealer.
We got to do this right.
Exactly. That's the whole story.
Are you wearing an American flag shirt?
I actually am. It's like unintentional patriotism.
Yeah.
It was like a couple throwaway shirts that my in-laws got us that I just will throw on whenever.
I just didn't know if like sometimes I think.
Thanks for calling it out. I appreciate it.
Sometimes I think I can figure out the other 90% of your shirt based on the top 10%, and a lot of times I'm wrong. This time, no, I got it. It's an American flag.
I mean, it's a couple little stars over here hiding. Right. For those of you not watching on YouTube.
I didn't know if you pan down, it would say like "fuck" over the flag or something. That's what I was hoping.
No, I'm not that much of an 14-year-old edgelord anymore. It's the guy. You know what I mean? Like there's a time and place for that, and the time and place is called being 14 in Hot Topic.
Right.
Or
the time is 2002. Place Hot Topic.
All right. We actually have a lot of stuff to talk about.
We do.
And we're doing another late recording, so we're gonna start blamming and zamming and zooping and booping through all these bad boys.
Bad boy.
Let's boop it on the nose. Anyway, some week in review. A lot of trailers again. We had a lot of trailers last week. A last minute like video game demo that we are both excited to talk about. Yeah. And then of course Obi-Wan episode 4, The Boys episode 4, Miss Marvel episode 1. And I finally did it. I finally watched Morbius. And we're going to talk about it. Some of those things I'm excited to talk about. Some of them I'm kind of not. So let's do the thing. Episode 71.
71.
Derek, how's your night going? I feel like I already talked enough for 2 podcasts.
It's going. I just realized halfway through this White Claw that I'm on antibiotics and that I shouldn't be drinking, but I already started, so I'm just going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep doing it.
What kind of antibiotic is it?
It's amoxicillin.
Okay, I was going to say, because not all of them are bad to take with alcohol.
I guess I should look into that. In any event, the reason that I'm on amoxicillin is that I got a tooth pulled on Friday.
Oh, right.
And everybody said to me, don't worry, it's no big deal. It's really, really not a big deal. And they're all liars, and I hate all of them now because it was terrible. I had the laughing gas and everything. I don't know if you ever had laughing gas, but
no, I haven't.
I didn't know what to expect from it, but all anybody could tell me was it makes you feel calmer. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of vague. What it did for me is it made me feel shit-faced. Like, remember when you were like 22, 23 and you're at the bar and it's like last call and you know you're on like the last stage of consciousness. You're like, if I have one more sip of anything, I'm going to black out.
And then you eat into oblivion.
And then you do it. Right. That's what it felt like. They were talking to me and I was like getting 1 out of every 3 words. Everything still hurt and was super uncomfortable. It sucked. I have stitches in my mouth and they keep falling out and then I swallow them because I'm not dexterous enough to spit them out. But you know, it doesn't hurt as much anymore. So that's good.
Yeah. Just so I Googled while you were talking, it's okay to drink alcohol while taking amoxicillin.
Beautiful. So I'm going to get fucking trashed then. Dr. Chris says it's okay.
Yeah, that was my professional opinion. TM. I've said this is one of my running life theories is that people in general, anybody who ever gives you advice on anything, or someone who's been through something you haven't, like a tooth being pulled, they will forever over exaggerate and make it sound worse than it is, or under exaggerate and not give you the important information. Besides being a parent, it's the only thing in my entire life that everyone was like, you're not going to sleep. 100% true. You're going to like a zombie for the first couple months. Like the only thing that ever held up to scrutiny that was exactly like everyone told me was having a child. That was it.
I have a coworker he's actually, he and his wife are due in like 2 weeks. And so like he asks me sometimes he doesn't ask me stuff and I just sort of word vomit onto him. But I'm like, I'm trying to give him like the real deal with like the first couple months of parenting. And it's really, truly like, of course you have this emotional explosion of, oh my God, I made someone and he's here. But it really sucks. Like it's boring. They don't do anything. They just lay there and shit themselves.
They're useless.
And they are. They're totally useless. They're not even smiling.
You get buyer's remorse.
Yeah. Exactly. Cumber's
remorse.
Episode 71, Cumber's remorse.
Oh no.
And so like sometimes I'm like, I'll be talking to him, and of course it's coming up, and I'm like, yeah, man, it's cool. You know, you'll have some time off, but it's boring. They're not doing anything. They kind of suck for a while. And in my head, I'm like, I sound like a really shitty dad right now. Like, I'm just like, yeah, they're kind of boring for a while. Once they turn 6 months, they're incredible. It's like every day they're doing something new.
Yeah.
They're a blast. But the first 6 months, I mean, you got to do it, right? But
then it's just like a mixed bag moving forward. Like Grayson's still incredible. He's hilarious. I came home today and he was describing to me how he needs to buy a new Batman costume, and then he was telling Samantha, he's like and she's like, yeah, as long as it's not too expensive, we'll look on Amazon. He goes, yeah, and if it's expensive, I'll just say please, 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 and then you'll say okay. And I was like, God damn,
got him.
You're probably right. But you know, they start back talking.
Right.
So there's that. It's still awesome every day, but there's a little tinge of, well, you're turning into that kid.
Yeah.
All right, let's hop into some news. Right before I do, at the Cynical Nerd on Twitter and TikTok and Facebook / the Cynical Nerd. You can email us at questions@thecynicalnerd.com. If you would like to tell us something we did very, very wrong,
we get it.
Hashtag fuck TCN on Twitter. If you'd like to tell us of something that you love that we did, you can or ask us a question. Hashtag ask TCN, ASK TCN.
If you'd like to kiss us, hashtag kiss TCN.
Okay.
Could always use maybe a kiss emoji at the end, something like that. Something that's just sweet that we know.
Mm-hmm. What else
from you? Hashtag. I don't know. Hashtag. I don't know. Hashtag. Sometimes the joke ends.
I was just happy. Sometimes the joke ends. I was just happy that you were talking while I logged into our email to make sure we did or did not get anything worth reading. The answer is no emails. Okay, Spoiler alert. Emails. Spoiler alert. Nothing this week.
No eames.
We did get a hashtag. I think
we did.
Well, it was a conversational one from Scooter McGavin, but I think it was made in like a joking context.
Oh, he said that we should have named our last episode Geppetto or Predophile. That's what it was.
Yeah. And I was like, Geppetto is a good one too. Yeah. For those of you who don't know, episode 70, Predator, out now. We laughingly discussed some pedophile jokes, and we're like, yeah, we can't put that in the title, so we'll just call it Predator, and we'll know. All right, let's dive into this shit. First up, informational, interesting. Todd Phillips, writer-director of the first Joker film with Joaquin Phoenix. Been a lot of rumors because that movie did very well on a small budget. You know, it's rated R. They don't usually give them much money to begin with. And much like, the first It movie, because of that, when they do well, it's like, holy shit, this made a lot of profit. That's how that one was. Todd Phillips posted something to Instagram that showed a picture of a script that said Joker. Folie à
Your guess is as good as mine. French is totally just foreign language to me, literally.
Folie à deux.
Folie à deux.
Folie à deux. Episode 71, Folie à deux. Just because I can't pronounce it. I'm doing it. I'm putting it up.
That's his hook line instead of you get what you fucking deserve. It's Folie à deux right before he kills another game show host.
I like how we're making it like vaguely Canadian. Folie à deux. Yeah, I'm not kidding. That's the episode title. Okay, which translates roughly to Madness for Two, which is an appropriate subtitle if you're going to name a sequel for Joker. Some have speculated that might mean they introduce some sort of in-universe Harley Quinn to the film. Don't know how I'd feel about that. Look, this is forever, much like the first film, going to be, I have to wait until I see the film to pass any kind of judgment, because I was not, I wouldn't say super skeptical, but I was not super sure that film was going to even feel relevant. And then I watched it and I was like, this movie is amazing.
Yeah.
Even though it made me uneasy for its entire runtime. That's what it was supposed to do.
I was a hater for like, until the first trailer, like all the news that dropped, and they had like promo shoots of him in the getup.
Yeah.
I was a huge hater. And then obviously I
Sip-
loved it. I have talked about it many times on the show. But
Sipping your haterade.
yeah, sipping my haterade. That's right. I don't know how. That being said, the fact that I was a hater for the first one, ended up loving it. Immediately, I'm like, well, isn't it good by itself? And all the typical stuff with like, sequels. Like, wasn't it good by itself? Why do they need to cash back in? And so I'm already like becoming a hater again. And I'm like, well, just like that right there makes me go like, well, should I give it a chance and see what happens here? I just
do you feel like being
it was-
optimistic, Derek?
I guess. I mean,
which of your two inner wolves will you let out?
but what's like, where are they going to go? I mean, I just don't like, I don't know. I guess.
Yeah, I
we'll
don't.
see.
It's really difficult to say because
The other question is, what Martin Scorsese film is he going to rip off this time?
Oh, I mean, fuck it. Whichever one is good with me.
Gangs in New York, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, what a fucking choice film. So yeah, I said made a lot of money. It had a $50 million budget, which makes sense. It made over $1 billion.
Did it really? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it grossed, all said, worldwide over $1 billion.
Damn.
So you give something a $50 million budget and get that kind of return, they're going to be chomping at the bit for you to make another one, which means you could cynically assume that it's just a cash grab and he doesn't have an idea, but who knows? He could have a great idea for a follow-up that we're not even thinking of. We'll have to wait. Either way, it's happening. No idea when or how soon. It's literally them reading the script. So I don't know if it's a final version, yada, yada, but we'll move on.
I also have some like faith in Joaquin Phoenix's ability to choose projects. Like he has turned things down that he felt were not like good for his brand or his image.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm sure he didn't agree to do it without reading the script, which says to me, maybe there's something good hidden in there.
And people like to shit on the movie Signs, but when it came out, I loved it.
So did I. I haven't seen it since because I'm worried that
I'm
like,
afraid
it's really bad, but
I've heard people shit on it since.
Yeah, me too.
Like the whole like swing away, people have made memes about it. And in the movie, like it was a relevant thing to say. It doesn't, but anyway, whatever. Moving on. Not starting that debate right now. This is awesome news. We were talking a couple weeks ago about a demo for a game called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. And I saw rumors last week. I didn't put it in the doc because there was nothing official. I saw rumors last week that the release date had been leaked via, I think it was like a bestbuy.com or amazon.com listing that had a date in it before it was supposed to. That was quickly taken offline. Lo and behold, that was correct. This game actually comes out June 16th.
3 days.
So it comes out in 3 fucking days. If you don't know what it is, it's basically Turtles in Time from the SNES. It's in that loving side-scrolling style, but they've, it's a modern take. They've added in new things like you have a power-up meter and everyone has cool special moves. You can play as April O'Neil in this one, and now they revealed you can play as Casey Jones, who's always been a fan favorite. It just looks really fucking choice. And to honor one of the original games, I think it might have been Turtles in Time, I think maybe had done this. I'm trying to remember, but either way. Along with if you buy a physical copy of Shredder's Revenge, you will get a free personal pizza from Pizza Hut. They will give you a coupon in the box to do it. It's really funny. It's obviously on brand because of the fucking turtles. I don't see the tweet about it now, but there was a tweet from one of the game's developers basically saying like how difficult it was to make this happen. They were like, we basically called and plastered Pizza Hut's corporate office for like 3 weeks to make this fucking deal happen. Look, it's just a cool little, it's nothing crazy, but the surprise release date of June 16th, along with the free personal pay-in pizza from Pizza Hut.
Don't you love like interesting atypical ad campaigns like that though? I don't know. Those are just fun.
Yeah.
I get that they're supposed to trick cynical people into going like, being just as dumb and susceptible to ads as everyone else, but it works.
Yeah.
It's cool. I don't know. Better than just putting a sign up somewhere.
Right. If you haven't seen any gameplay for it, you should go check it out. It looks really awesome.
Oh, I can't wait. Shotgun Mikey, by the way. I can't wait to play.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's okay. I can't decide if I want to be Leo or Donatello. I always liked the fucking bow staff. I got a lot of skills with a bow staff. Anyway, this looks really fun. It looks really cool.
Agree.
And so this is saying it's going to be available on Game Pass. It doesn't say if it's Game Pass on PC or just the regular Game Pass, but I don't care. I was prepared to buy this. I'm definitely. It looks gorgeous. The fucking the whatever. You know what I'm saying? It looks cool.
Love letter to that era of the beat 'em up side scrollers. You know, other one. I'm just gonna put this request in. I've been asking my friends for years to play Streets of Rage 4 with me. Okay, we can get through Shredder's Revenge, and then please, for the love of God, can we play Streets of Rage 4? I'm begging you.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Thank you. Now we just need 2 more.
Sure. All right. Also, like Shredder's Revenge is something that we've talked about, like gaming and putting it up on the channel for a while. That's something we could definitely do.
Agree.
So we'll look into doing that shortly. Probably, it comes out in 3 days, so we can probably try it this weekend.
We could.
Okay, moving on. We have a lot of game stuff to talk about because there was a games showcase, and then there was another couple little ditties over Sunday from Xbox. But this has nothing to do with games. This is Zack Snyder's basically rejected Star Wars script. So called Rebel Moon. So there was a story here about a year ago. And it was Snyder saying he had pitched this story to Lucasfilm a while ago. It wasn't like super recent, about an idea he had in the Star Wars universe, and they had said no. He kept the idea and expanded it, turned it into its own sci-fi universe, called it Rebel Moon, which may or may not be a nod to the famous weapon of the company that turned him down. And he's got some fucking actors joining that are like not nothing actors. Like, now look, I know Anthony Hopkins has done some poo poo la la films, but he is pretty well respected.
Yeah.
He's joined the cast of Rebel Moon. That's the announcement. So Snyder himself has said he is using Seven Samurai as a inspiration. Obviously, that was huge inspiration for Star Wars itself.
Yeah.
To George Lucas, but we have no idea what this is going to be about. I'm just excited.
There's honestly a lot of potential there because, I mean, Seven Samurai, I don't know how much you know about the plot of it, but it's essentially, inspired by true events, which is that like the samurai were trained and outfitted to be these killing machines for some war. And then basically the war ended and the Japanese government was like, all right, fuck you guys. We can't pay for you anymore. And so they all became basically mercenaries. And so it's basically a story about former samurai who have like fallen from grace, sort of trying to find an honorable cause again. So just the fact that it's like, I don't know if it's based on that, if it's like a space retelling of Seven Samurai, or if it's just like inspired by it. Either way, that's a lot of movies have been inspired by that movie. It's like a very seminal film, including The Magnificent Seven, which also had its own remake, which was for a Chris Pratt film. Not too bad, I must say.
Nice.
And that's it.
I was trying to see if I could make you think that I was frozen.
Okay, I did for a second, so yeah.
What do I like later on in the episode? I just start talking and then sorry, no one's. If you're not watching, it's not funny. I apologize. Yeah, he's got some cool fucking actors in here so far. I was looking through the list. Jenna Malone, he's collaborated with her before in the past. Ray Fisher, he's bringing back Cyborg from Justice League, who's basically been, blackballed by Warner Brothers after his allegations against him. Ed Skrein, Charlie Hunnam, Carrie Eluz, Alfonso Herrera. This is a guy, this next one, I don't know how to pronounce his name, and I'm very sorry. Jimon Hunsen, I don't know. You would know him better as Korath in Guardians of the Galaxy. He played the wizard in the Shazam film. He's been in a lot of shit. He's a good working actor, always pulls his weight. I never knew how to pronounce his name. I'm very sorry. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, he later, listens too. He's one of our listeners, and we just lost him.
So sorry, Hunsu.
Well, you got it that time, so now he's back.
Yeah. Oh, he's back. He turned it back on.
Welcome back.
Yeah, so
Glad
he
to
turned
have
it
you
off,
again.
and then he had a tweet that said, "Hey, dude, they fixed it a second later." And he's like, "Oh, okay, I hit play again. I got you. I'm still here." Anyway, Rebel Moon. Don't know when it's coming out, but it's coming out to Netflix. Look, I'm just glad Zach is still working on stuff.
Yeah.
I was worried the Justice League shit was gonna sour him on filmmaking in general, and he's got a very particular style, and it's not always for everyone. It's not always for me.
Yeah.
For Christ's sake. But you can't deny that he's got a good eye for fucking for framing a shot, because holy shit, some of that stuff is gorgeous. Some of the ideas he has for framing. Sexuality. He's not I would say he's not the best at writing like dialogue and scripts. A lot like George Lucas. Like, let someone else write your movie. You just make it look pretty, and then I'll be there. Sold.
Opening night.
That's it. All right.
On to the next one.
Shit. Lovely. All right. Next news article is about Naughty Dog. Surprise. Guess what they're making? Not something besides the Last of Us thing. The next Last of Us game will be multiplayer only.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what this means.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going to be an online only. I don't think it's literally going to be like the online aspect of the original Last of Us, where it's like players against players. I think it's going to be more of a persistent world, maybe something similar to like a DayZ, but in the Last of Us universe, or taking inspiration from something like that. I would actually be cool with that, but I'm 1000% speculating, because all they've said is that the next Last of Us game was going to be huge in scope and would be a multiplayer thing. And they would reveal more next year. So that's all I have to go on. Just thought it was cool to talk about.
Yeah. Don't you hate when developers do that, though, when they're like, hey, we have this thing and we're going to talk about it a year from now?
Yeah, Hideo.
It's like, exactly. Yeah. Can you not? Can you just wait a year? No, I actually think that they're gonna. I really feel like they're gonna cash in on the battle royale craze, but while it's still here, that's what I think is happening. There's apparently files that were like data mined from The Last of Us 2 that like some battle royale-esque variant was like pulled from it. Apparently, I guess at some point in development had made an announcement that they just weren't doing multiplayer at all for Last of Us 2. And like the files that were data mined indicated that it was some kind of battle royale type thing. And if you think about like what you do, even in the campaign of The Last of Us, it's like scavenge for shit and then kill people with it. So that's kind of what battle royale is. I feel like I don't know. Is it just me? Like, am I being naive? Have I fallen out of the touch? No, it's the children who are wrong. Is battle royale dying? I feel like it kind of is. I feel like it's not like it's started its decay. I feel like.
Well, that's actually, you had said like cashing in on the battle royale craze, and I was going to say like, but I feel like it's kind of, not that it's dying, but that the seed of that initial idea, people are like, there's something here, but it's simple. We can make things around it and make it better. There's a lot of games coming out right now. I'm completely blanking on the name. I'm very sorry, because it was very cool and deserves an actual mention. That I've seen people stream lately, that is a battle royale, but there's a lot of crafting and scavenging involved in there. In almost like a survival aspect, like you have to cut down trees and gather wood, and then blah blah, and you know, and I feel like the craze, the initial swelling of battle royale is dying, but I feel like the gameplay mechanics or ideas that it has inspired are just taking root, and will not show up as true, but this is just my personal opinion, will not show up as true simple battle royales in the future, but will be included in other concepts to make a more complex game. Like maybe this game has like a, you know, permadeath aspect to it, and you're killing other real people in the real world, but maybe there's more to it than that. Maybe there's an actual like storyline that you're trying to play through, or some kind of gameplay mechanic that would, I don't fucking know. I'm just speculating.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, isn't the whole point of The Last of Us like that you're playing a very concentrated story that's about like specific people? If you just go in and like you make a character that's just a part of a character generator and you name them like Dan, and then you get killed, and then you just have to make another one named like George. Is there really any like connection? Isn't that the whole like? Isn't that the point of?
Hey, Dan and George mean a lot to me.
I don't know. You're right. It's not even fair. Like they haven't given us enough. That's the frustrating thing though. Like why even say anything?
Yeah, Hideo.
It's weird. Yeah, Hideo was even worse. He was just like, I've been thinking about things for a little while. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You know how I always make Sony stuff? I'm gonna make something with Microsoft. All right, see ya. I'll tell you more about it later. Shut up. Just don't say anything. Xbox was like, please, can we have anything, Hideo? Sure.
Yeah.
Just hit play, baby. I'll give you the magic.
I was under the impression that he was like contracted by Sony. Like you're ours now. Like your life is ours. But I guess that's not. I guess it was just for Death Stranding.
I always kind of felt the same way too, much in the same way that like From Software is not a Sony-owned studio, but I always felt like they leaned more Sony.
Yeah.
Like,
well, they have exclusives to
yeah,
and Bloodborne. So
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's all I got. I don't know. all right, let's move on. They call it the biggest online experience yet. We'll see what the hell that means. They also released a screenshot of one of the tweets that's like a couple survivors on a rooftop in a ruined city in the Last of Us universe.
Mm-hmm.
The Last of Us world is fun and rich and fairly well built out, so it could be fun. We'll see.
Did we talk about The Last of Us Part 1? I don't know if that had happened last.
We didn't talk about the remake that they're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good place to put it. So thank you. They have announced they're doing not a remaster, a full remake of The Last of Us 1, which is 9 years old at this point.
Yeah.
So not even a decade, which is something you were excited to point out when you posted about it.
That's an interesting way to put that. Thank you.
Yeah, you were stoked to tell everybody about. Yeah, I don't know. Cool. The first game's good. I just don't know why you'd be wasting resources on something. I agree with what you said, by the way. I mean, I just make something new. Like, what are we doing?
It's not like I liked the first one significantly more than the second one. So like, and it's coming out on PC. So I'm just going to put on my hat and yoink that off of the high seas.
Yoink.
I'm excited to play it again. Like, especially with PC controls. I mean, I even said that about the second one. I hope they release it on PC. I feel like at least some of my experience, my bad experience, well, my middling experience with it was influenced by I just don't like the playing with the controller.
Yeah.
But it's just weird that they wouldn't use that time, effort, and budget to just do the third one. I don't know. It's just a bizarre choice to me. But I'm going to play it. I mean, you really leaned into that sip. That was really like, it was almost like you were falling. Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, for the people at home, I don't know. It's weird because it feels like Naughty Dog is just, I don't want to say cashing in, but like really focusing on The Last of Us as a franchise. Mm-hmm. Even like you said, even though the first one came out, less than 10 years ago. And it's so weird because it's not like the studio hasn't made other literal blockbuster franchises. Mm-hmm. Like it's not like the Wells dry, I would assume, over there. The Uncharted series makes buco fucking bucks, but they're not remaking Uncharted 1 every 9 years. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see how it is. I'll probably buy it too. But by the time it comes out, it will have been long enough since I played the first one.
Yeah.
And if they're putting like newer game mechanics in it, and I'm gonna be like, okay, fine, here's my money. Just how they get you.
Just like okay. Begrudgingly pull out your wallet.
Yeah. I'm going to save this last news article for when we talk about The Boys, because it has to do with The Boys. That just makes sense to talk about it with The Boys. And instead, we're going to talk about our trailers. We're moving right along. Putting it on Front Street, as someone very smart and handsome once said.
Mm-hmm. Incredibly handsome.
The first trailer is the much anticipated, long awaited trailer. Bless you, cutie. For Black Adam, starring Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
I think it's pronounced Janssen.
Janssen?
Dwayne Janssen.
Dwayne Janssen? Oh, God. I love it. Dwayne Janssen. Yeah, I mean, it features a lot of shit. There's the Justice League.
I'm just imagining you as the director doing a promo. Like, it features a lot of shit, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
we did like a lot of shit in this movie.
Black Adam features the Justice Society of America, which is another iteration of the Justice League. It was basically a way for them to include a couple other well-known DC heroes on the screen. This movie, obviously, we've talked about Black Adam as a character before, even going so far as to make some people laugh through their noses just at his name, which does sound silly out of context. I mean, even in context, I don't know that it's not still silly.
Yeah.
But this movie looks more like they're juxtaposing him as or positioning him, not juxtaposing him, as an anti-hero as opposed to being a straight villain of Shazam, which is what he was first designed and created to be. He's basically the reverse Flash to Flash. He's the guy who's got the same powers as Shazam, but he's not as altruistic. He's not as Boy Scouty as Shazam is. He rules. He's almost like Doctor Doom and Superman. That's actually probably the best combo I could give you. Much like Doctor Doom, he is quite literally the ruler of a small made up country in the DC universe. Shit, with the name is fucking completely escaping me, and I have known it before, but that's okay. But he rules with an iron fist. He's like, commit crime in my fucking country, you're dead. Like, that's the kind of hero or anti-hero he is. He's got a very strict moral code, but he will still protect people. He's not like straight up, I'm gonna rule the world. So obviously
there's a line in this trailer where I actually haven't watched it in a couple days, but someone says like heroes don't kill people, and he says I do, or something like that. Yeah,
he was really pushing it, selling the line home. You know, here's what I'm about.
Well, but honestly, though, like I'm tired of the whole like, not killing is part of my code. It's like, really, the guy who wanted to bomb the city, and every time he escapes, he does it again, and you're just still not going to kill him. You're just going to let people die by just not killing one person. Yeah, it's just not. I understand like superheroes come from a time where there was like different morals. It was like taking the high road, but it's like things are not like that anymore. Like you kind of have to nip problems in the bud. So I like that we're seeing more of that. Like, and it's not like he's edgy or anything, right? He's just like, well, if someone's being a dick, I'm going to kill him. Period. Love it. Love it.
Yeah. So the fictional country is called Kahndaq. It's in the Middle East, and basically he, it's like a less severe version of like the, oh no, Superman's gone fascist in the comics. Like he puts several like severe to crime rules in place, but he's not like overall evil, just to give you an idea and a little taste. Anyway, this trailer shows off a lot. It shows off we don't know what threat is threatening the world because he's basically Superman level strong, so like not a lot's gonna physically challenge him. In fact, we've also talked and laughed about this before. One of Superman's only weaknesses besides kryptonite is magical powers. So in a fight against, I know, it sounds so silly, but this is the stuff that we like.
But that was a good laugh.
It was. The old chuckles. I remember catching you guys off guard, and I was like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah.
No, I know. We like superheroes, and we're in our 30s. Okay, we gotta live with sentences like Superman's weak to magic. But yeah, he is. So it's historically Black Adam has always beaten the shit out of Superman. So and Dwayne Johnson's made lots of tweets about I want to fight Henry Cavill and shit like that. And with his star power, he could single-handedly probably keep Henry Cavill as Superman if he wanted to. Warner Bros. Would probably do whatever the fuck he says. So let's hope Black Adam does well, right? Because he's on Team Cavill. And so am I, because that man's a mountain I'd love to climb.
Let me be your Sherpa up that mountain.
Oh, okay.
I'll meet you at the top.
Oh, I love it. I'll be your Sherpa up the mountain. Okay, so the trailer, since we've talked about it, but not actually about it, just introduces us to the many characters that are in the film. Obviously, Dwayne Johnson is Black Adam, but also other people like Dr. Fate, who's played by fucking Pierce Brosnan himself. For those of you unawares, Dr. Fate is basically the Doctor Strange of the DC universe. Dr. Fate, much like Deathstroke came before Deadpool, but Deadpool's more famous. It's the same thing. Dr. Fate came first. Doctor Strange came after, but Doctor Strange is more famous of a character.
Well, I can tell you why immediately. Because Dr. Fate is a really stupid name.
It is. It's one of those golden age chintzy.
Right. Yeah.
No, 100%. I mean, all these characters were made in the Silver Age. Yeah. And just turns out that what name's going to stand the test of time better? Doctor Strange. Dr. Fate loses. But there's a couple heroes from this Justice Society. Hawkman is in it, played by Aldous Hodge. Noah Centineo is playing Atom Smasher, who's basically Ant-Man. He can make himself real big and real small. There is who else? Cyclone is going to be in this. I know next to nothing about that character. But yeah, it's just there's a lot of cool shots, I thought, in this trailer.
Yeah. I wasn't overly impressed by it, to be honest, but I have faith in Dwayne Johnson as a leading man, and
it'll at least be okay, right?
It'll be like palatable,
right?
And again, just the fact that he's not a villain or a hero, but an anti-hero, I always kind of like those. Which, by the way, I still have to watch Venom, despite all the bad. I feel like going in expecting. If your expectations are right, you could actually have a good time with that movie.
Yeah. You also have to just listen to Eminem sing his Venom song on repeat while you're watching it.
I won't
Venom. Sorry, I will not ever do that again. Promise. Yeah, the trailer looks okay. So my biggest interest for this is I actually don't know much about Black Adam's origin. Yeah. And in the trailer, they allude to like he had a family and a son, and his son actually sacrificed himself to save his father. That's obviously a very sad thing for me to hear as a father. So I'm interested in that. It looks like he's basically going to be forced to ally himself with the Justice Society and toe that line between hero and anti-hero to get together and save the world from whatever's happening.
Right.
It'll be interesting to see if they mention anything else in the DC universe in this film. They're obviously including a lot of other heroes, so it'd be interesting to see if they bring in cameos from anybody else. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. This movie comes out October 19th of this year, so it's just a few months away. I feel like this is like a passion project for Dwayne Johnson. He's been very vocal about wanting to play this character for a long time. I can remember when they first announced it, it had already been talked about for like years before that. So good for him. I hope it's good. He always seemed like just the nicest him and John Cena, like the big muscly dudes. Yeah. They just seem like the biggest sweethearts on the whole face of the planet. So,
I feel like they'd give you a hug, but then you, like, as soon as they hugged you, you would not want them to hug you anymore.
Oh, right. They might hurt me.
Say. Yeah.
I was thinking he would squeeze the cum out of me like I'm a tube of toothpaste.
Straight up to the top.
Anyway, moving on. We got another trailer. This is a fun one, depending on your definition of fun.
Subjectivity being what it is.
If you had to guess the name of a character that Jamie Foxx was playing and I told you he was going to hunt vampires, I know it's a super huge net to cast, but I don't think my first, second, or 162nd guess would be Bud Jablonski. And that's the name of the character that he's playing in this movie. That being said, this is a trailer called Day Shift. It's going to be a Netflix series that he's starring in.
Oh, it's a series.
And they're billing it as it might just be a movie. I'm sorry. I'm so used to saying series at this point that it just vomits out of my mouth. Day Shift starring Jamie Foxx. They keep calling it John Wick with vampires.
Yeah.
And whenever anybody says that, I'm like, I don't know. I feel like you're just you're like, hey, remember this other thing?
So that's what I was going to say, that John Wick has become like John Wick has become the Dark Souls of movies. You know how like every gaming journalist is like, this is the Breath of the Wild of the Dark Souls of the Skyrim and it's like, oh my God, just think of an original way to explain
Sonic
this
Frontiers
movie,
is Breath of the Wild with Sonic in it. Yeah.
Exactly. But that's what John Wick has become for action movies. Right. How would you describe this movie? What's the plot like? John Wick.
Yeah.
However, let me just say, if you told me the premise of this movie, that it was about people beating vampires up, I'm like, stupid. It's been done. Blade, 25 years ago. Perfect. No need to go anywhere else with it. However, this was like a behind the scenes trailer. It wasn't like a proper trailer, and it showed that like most of what they're doing is practical effects. And a lot of these stunts were very impressive. There was a guy on a motorcycle that exploded and then he flew off of it.
End of sentence.
Yeah.
Just be impressed.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
I recommend you watch it.
Yeah, no, the behind the scenes thing is nifty. Like the description makes me cringe, but that being said, I mean, The vampire
did Jamie
makeup.
Foxx's enthusiasm for it also make you cringe? Because it did for me. Like,
Oh yeah,
can you
he
calm
was
down
like,
a little bit, Jamie. Just
it was like he was selling Pepsi. We'll get to that later.
Yeah. It's like he's bankrupt and this is his last hope. You guys should really see this movie.
Well, coming off the high that is Electro
Right.
as a role. Nah, he was fun enough in that. He was supposed to be cheesy movie villain, and he was. I like Jamie Foxx too. I think he's a good actor.
Yeah.
He fucking was it Ray the movie? God, he was great
I watched
in that
for
fucking
the first
movie.
time just like a year and a half ago. It was excellent. Great movie.
Fucking amazing movie. Anyway, so yeah, like you said, this is more of a behind the scenes thing. It comes out August 12th. The practical stuff was cool, and the other thing I would point out is the vampires they're hunting. A lot of them have this creepy prosthetic makeup on that almost gives them like a zombie vampire hybrid feel to them, at least more like an undead creature as opposed to just a person wearing fangs. And to drive that home, it looks like they literally hired contortionists in some of these scenes, which it just always creeps me the fuck out. And they're using it with the makeup on and everything. So hopefully it's just a dumb, fun time. That's the most optimistic thing that I could say, is that it would just be dumb fun.
Well, the contortionist scene, even like the actor who was like sharing that scene with her afterwards got all like the heebie-jeebies, and then they were like laughing afterwards. Can you imagine like that's your life's work, is being a contortionist, and people are just like, ugh, everywhere you go? I guess that's
a good job. Thank you. Yeah,
exactly.
You have to go to a therapist to like retrain your brain to hear the shrieks as like positivity. Like, ugh! You're like, oh yeah, give me the butter,
like,
baby.
Contortionist therapy is a specific like specialty of therapy.
Yeah, it's got to be. If my
I gotta refer
photoshopping
you out. Sorry, this is not in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, if my photoshopping skills were better, it would be someone like bent over with their legs over their shoulders, standing on a couch, talking with like a psychologist sitting in the chair. I might try to do it because it would be so funny, but I'd have to fit it in this little square frame for the thumbnail. It'd be so difficult.
Right on the couch. Oh my God, that would be hilarious.
Contortionist psychology. Anyway, we'll see if I can make it happen. If I can't, it'll be some of the random shit. So surprise.
All right.
Okay. Next is a game trailer. I just thought this looked kind of nifty and I wanted to talk about it. So I didn't know this game was coming out. It's a game called Evil West, talking about fucking vampires again. It's a dark, like Wild West fantasy game. It comes out September 20th. It's a third-person action game with a bunch of silly, overpowered weapons and guns. That's all I can really say about it. You have to kind of watch the trailer to get a feel for the game itself. I have no idea if this will be any good.
Yeah. I don't know. It looks fun though. Like it looks like it's stupid, but it looks fun. It looks like you know what? It reminded me of like a over the shoulder, like an OTS Bulletstorm. You know how Bulletstorm was just like raw fucking fun. Like it was just
it does kind of look like that.
Shit. Like not that it has the same mechanics or anything, but just the absurdity and the over the topness of it just made me think of that.
Well, you got like a fucking cowboy fighting vampires with like an electrified gauntlet on his. It's this weird like futuristic but still old school shit.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It looks fun. I agree.
Bulletstorm was a fucking blasty blast though. Yeah,
so good. So
they show a lot of the over the
video game.
Yeah, it was really fun. They show a lot of the over the top like game mechanics and weapons in this trailer. There's big boss fights. There's huge enemies where you've got like this crazy electrified gauntlet and you're chaining electricity through multiple people and then you shoot them with a shotgun and they all blow up. You know, it's very visceral, over the top. But apparently the studio's got a decent track record. Flying Wild Hog. It's an indie studio. Great name, by the way.
Yeah,
great fucking name. It's going to be on the Steam and on the Focus Store. The fuck is the Focus Store?
God damn it.
Ignoring that completely. Close your fucking doors. Nobody wants you. Sorry, moving on. You can go check out Evil West. Get it if you like it.
It's the best way to summarize that. Yeah.
Best endorsement I can give it. Question. Do you like anything Rob Zombie does?
I do. No, I really do. Not music wise, but his movies I generally do like. Yeah.
I don't know any of the words. I know that's the only Rob Zombie song I know. He's doing the Munsters.
Yeah.
And I've known he was doing this, but I thought it was going to be modernized, and it's got like the same fucking tone.
Yeah.
At least
PG
in the beginning.
too, which is like,
yeah.
weirdly enough, like Rob Zombie and PG, I gotta check that out. All of his shit is like extreme horror. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna be dumb, right? Like let's be
Yeah.
real. But I mean, but it's just the fact that you take like a gory horror director and have him do a PG movie is enough to make me go like, all right, well, let's see what it's all about. This is a teaser. Like this is a teaser of a teaser, though. It's literally just like you said, same tone.
Yeah.
They're in their same getup, same makeup. They almost look exactly like the same actors who played them a bajillion years ago. And they all sit down, and then they're in color, and they go, "Whoa, what next?" And then that's it. Nothing happened in this trailer.
No, not at all.
But
it was just a look at the.
Do you not like Rob Zombie's films? Is that what you were getting at?
I
Be honest with me.
don't
Okay.
really like them.
All right.
I
fair.
especially
It's
think
okay.
his Halloween film was bad.
I haven't seen it in a long time, but I remember liking it a lot when it came out.
Really?
I never
Maybe I'm
saw the
alone
second,
here.
but I saw the. No, I've heard other people say the same. But I love House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects.
I am alone now. No, that didn't work out. Yeah, Devil's Rejects I thought was like okay. I don't know. I feel like I have a.
He's a little self-indulgent. Like like I don't know. There are certain scenes that I think he thinks are coming across as like badass, and they're not at all. But overall, I like his movies.
Word.
He had a movie called like 31 or 13 or something that like all the horror fans were like, "Oh my god, this is the best Rob Zombie film to date." Dude, it was fucking terrible. It was awful. Man. It was so bad.
Word. I'll have to go watch that now.
Lords of Salem is.
There is something.
And that's it. I covered his whole catalog. I'm done now. Lords of Salem was a good movie. Check it out.
He likes to work with the same cadre of actors all the time, which is something that one of them being his wife, which I'm totally okay with. It's not a poo-poo statement. If you got a group of people who have good chemistry together, then sure, keep them together. It's interesting. It's a very huge wait and see for me for that Monsters thing. It's almost like the evolution of Rob Zombie himself. Like he was a young man making brash and hardcore and R-rated films, and now he's settling down in his older age of being a director, and he's like, maybe I don't need all the blood.
Well, he is known to be a very sweet person. Like the people who meet him say you'd think he's like this gruff because he looks like a fucking asshole. But apparently he's really nice.
Yeah, because he looks like he fell into the t-shirt rack at Hot Topic and never came out.
Fell down the Hot Topic tree. Hit every branch on the way down.
Yeah. Okay, next trailer is the final trailer for the film Nope. And if you don't want any spoilers for this movie going into it, you should nope away from this trailer.
Yeah.
Although, I would say this trailer doesn't really give much away, in my personal opinion. Here's why I say that. I don't know about you, but it was never a doubt in my mind that they were leaning towards an alien aspect from day one. So the fact that they, spoiler alert, show a fucking spaceship in this was not a spoiler to me. I just expected that. Yeah. And actually, to me, I could be totally off base on this, but to me, this says that there's something else going on, much like all of Jordan Peele's movies, where, maybe it is aliens, but there's got to be a third wheel to this story that has some twist to it. Yeah. I don't feel like it would just be a fucking alien movie. But yeah, so the final trailer for Nope came out. This movie comes out in theaters next month. It's a little over a month away, July 22nd. So yeah, just a month and some change. And we've seen like glimpses of it before. Yeah. People looking up in the sky, seeing the silhouette of something ominous, flags going up into the clouds like they were hanging off of something. And I always assumed it was alien based. This one actually shows a fucking spaceship behind him.
Yeah. Unless
it was a misdirect, which I doubt it. I'm for it. I haven't seen a good alien horror movie in a long time.
Yeah.
So fuck it.
I agree that it's not like he gave the whole movie away, but I have a weird criticism. I hate when trailers show a really good shot in the trailer. Do you remember when The Dark Knight Rises? The Dark Knight Rises was on his ad campaign. And
I know you're gonna say.
Wait, the trailers.
Let me guess. Was it the one with him standing in the rubble?
No.
Oh,
it was
okay.
the scene where the football player is like running down the thing, and like the field collapses behind.
Oh, you
him.
said Rises. I thought you said Dark Knight. Okay.
Yeah. So like maybe I didn't say Rises, but in any event, the third one, and it shows in all the trailers this football player running and like the field collapsing behind him, and then you go see the movie. And when it happens, you're just expecting that scene the whole time. So as soon as you see that there's a football game happening, you're like, oh, so he blows up the like subterranean level and that happens. Whereas if you hadn't seen that in the trailer, that would have been like oh my fucking God. Like it would have been this great moment in the movie, but it was just like you already saw it. And so like, I agree. You already knew it was about aliens. It was very clear. But like they show a couple shots of like a UFO zipping by between clouds or like, and it's like cool. And then it just shows a shot of like it on the ground 25 feet behind a guy chasing him. I'm like, all right, you could have had this whole movie where you like maintained the mystery of like, you just see that, you know, a little disc darting between clouds for like 2 seconds or whatever. And then you have this cool fucking moment where it's like, boom, nope, now it's like right down here with you. But now we know that happens. I mean, on some level we knew it was going to happen anyway, but just like we have the visualization of it. That's what irks me. It's like it potentially ruins like the awesomeness of watching that scene, having not, you know, known that it was coming. But anyway, I'm still going to watch it. Jordan Peele doesn't always put out bangers, but there's always great things about his movies. I feel like they're always worth watching. I know that he produced Candyman, which is of his recent films, the one that I like the least. And he
didn't direct it though.
He didn't direct it. He produced, but it's the one of his involvement recently that I like the least. And there's still a lot to like about that movie. So I'm confident there'll at least be good things about Nope.
Yeah, much like I always do. I've had it playing while you're talking, and there's a gorgeous shot of the nighttime, and it's of the house pulled away, and you can see like rain coming off the sides of the object, but you can't see the object, so it looks like a ring of water around the house.
I must have missed that.
Very cool shots. Glad I ruined that one for you. So the only part of the story that they do give away is that it's like they see this thing, they recognize it as at least alien phenomena. Something people have. I always hate when there's like a monster movie and the people in the movie act like they've never heard even kids' stories of said thing. Because if something, like if I'm in the water and people around me start dying, I'm going to go, this is like Jaws.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so these guys instantly go, oh, like, and they think they have like alien phenomena going on, and they install like cameras. They're trying to cash in on it, trying to make fucking money. And this goes sideways. They're like, we think we angered them. So I'm excited to see it. I do think they showed a little too much, but I don't think they spoiled the plot of the film here.
No,
I mean,
I agree.
I don't think they were hiding a lot of it. I would assume Peele being in complete control of this, because the studios have given him, from what I can tell, basically free reign. He's got small budget horror films that are doing well at the box office. Wouldn't ruin his own film in trailers for no reason. A lot of the actors, he had Daniel Kaluuya, who was in Get Out and Black Messiah, is joined by Kiki Palmer, Stephen Yeun, fucking
love Stephen
of
Yeun.
Walking Dead fame. That guy's a great. The character he's playing here, the guy in the pink cowboy outfit. I love him.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be really fun.
He gets me roused up. I'm ready to go.
It gets me riled up. Oh,
hey,
gotcha.
You know what's great about Stephen Yeun is that like 3 years ago, for 10 years, everybody just called him Glenn from The Walking Dead. And now everybody knows him as Stephen Yeun because he's just fucking great.
Good for him. He's also the voice of our the star of Invincible.
Oh man, I can't wait for season 2.
My man, I love that I got you guys to watch that show.
Yeah,
and then everybody fell in love with it.
I do. I love you for that.
Thank you.
One of the many reasons that I love you.
It's one of the reasons I have self-confidence.
Right.
because you loved it.
If I were suddenly to decide that I didn't like it, that would destroy you.
Doesn't matter. You've already once told me you loved it, so that's enough. If your opinion changes, I can't control you. I'm not in control.
Right. As much as you'd like to.
Oh, hey, I hold the leash, or is it a collar? Okay, next. Like my little song. This game I think was tailor made for you and I.
Yeah.
This trailer. This is for
and
a
Pete,
trailer.
We'll mention him, even though he never listens to the fucking show.
Yeah, even though he's never fucking here.
Yeah.
We all enjoy survival crafting games that also involve a bit of combat, and it. Lo and behold, if you've been living under a rock, Derek's favorite film franchise of all time is Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings Return to Moria is a survival crafting game set in the fourth age of Middle Earth. You will be dwarves returning to the mines of Moria in the mountains. You will be foraging for materials. You'll be mining. You will be building bases, crafting, making weapons, fighting orcs, fighting spiders, ghouls and goblins. Mm-hmm. You cool cats and kittens. It looks like a good time. It really looks like Valheim in Lord of the Rings for me. That was what I was gathering from it.
It really is. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the most accurate way to put it. It looks like you can do like multi-level shit for your mines, which is exciting. Yeah. Looks like there's different tiers of armor, just like I have such bad indigestion. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Looks like there's like multiple tiers of armor. And it just takes place in a cool spot of the lore for Lord of the Rings. I mean, the dwarves are cool. They're not often explored. Gimli is kind of just comic relief in the trilogy, so it's cool that we're gonna get a deep dive into some dwarven mines. It looks really cool.
There are some really stunning shots in here. You think mines, you think like everything's dark and there's no light anywhere. One of the opening shots is this huge chasm in the mountains with like waterfalls coming into the mountains and shit, and it just looks really cool.
I love that all these Lord of the Rings games are coming out, man. I'm very, very pumped for it.
Nice. Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I hope the combat's that's always like, if a survival game is going to include combat, making sure it's satisfying combat is like a death knell to the game. Yeah. Valheim had very satisfying combat for me.
Yeah. I'd love to go back and revisit that game.
I'm going to be doing that as soon as their next content patch releases. Yeah. They're releasing an entirely new biome called the Mistlands.
Right.
And when that comes out, I will be returning.
I've heard that there's something like transcendent about like the first time that you build a boat and go on a boat with your friends and like cross the ocean in that game.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. And I'm like, I read like something about that. I'm like, well, now I got to go back and play it. I'm loving V Rising though. I don't know if we even talked about it on the show, but what made me think of it is, well, you just compared Lord of the Rings to it, but you said that when you include combat in a crafting survival game, it has to be good. I think it's excellent in V Rising. It's like really fun.
Yeah, it's not overly complicated. It's very fun.
Yeah. They did the bosses pretty well in that game.
Yeah, they're like, the bosses have just enough that you have to pay attention to each of them, but not enough that they're like impossible to kill, which would be a death knell for that kind of game. We're having a ton of fun with V Rising. Ghouls, Vools, Ghouls, Bulls, and Vampools is the name of our clan. And we're just a couple of vampires living out our best lives.
It's true. Doing the best we can.
Oh, sorry. Living out our best afterlives.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Solid strike. All right. Next game / gameplay footage. It was announced. By the way, Return to Moria is going to be released in 2023. No exact date was given just yet, but we'll be anxiously awaiting it. Hopefully they just finish it tomorrow. They're like, oh shit, we didn't realize we were done. Here it is.
Like, oh my God, we had so much done already.
Surprise. There was an official gameplay reveal for No Man's Sky 2. I mean, Starfield. I'm just kidding. There are some serious differentiators here, but there's a lot of gameplay elements that are very similar, and the internet has been very quick to point that out. So Starfield from Bethesda, which has been in development for quite some time now, they've officially given it a release date of 2023, and they gave a gameplay reveal, which was basically Todd Howard talking through multiple activities in the game. It's a 15-minute gameplay trailer. if you're at all interested in space games, survival games, Bethesda games, you should go watch it and not listen to me describe it to you.
Especially if you can somehow tolerate Todd Howard's voice. It's the worst.
Oh yeah, it is pretty bad. But you know, I'm a sucker for space games. I'm a sucker for survival games. I'm a sucker for exploration games, and this one checks all those boxes. So here's the thing: is it gonna be dog shit on release and be buggy as hell and not run properly? Probably. More likely than not. So it might take a little while to get where it needs to be.
It looks like Fallout No Man's Sky. That's what I didn't watch the whole 15. I skimmed it.
Yeah.
Because frankly, it looks kind of boring to me. I'm not saying I won't play it, but I'm certainly not going to spend $60 on it.
Yeah.
But it didn't look nothing was like new about it. And so to me, that's like, well, I could just whatever game this is like derivative of or games, I could just probably collectively buy all those for less than the $60 that this game is going to cost me. But eventually I'll check it out. But there was nothing there that I was like, wow, I can't wait to play this. It looks like it's a cross between, I'll actually add one in, Outer Worlds. Because there's like different points you can put into like diplomacy, and being an introvert and shit gives you bonuses, and I don't know.
It's the only thing ever where introvert gives you bonuses.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Doesn't do that in real life.
No, it certainly doesn't.
Yeah, no, I mean, this looks like there are a lot of gameplay elements here that are very similar to No Man's Sky, but that's because while it wasn't wildly successful when it came out and has taken years to come up to anything, No Man's Sky did scratch a particular itch for people.
Yeah.
I think the procedural generation is actually kind of more of a harm than good to No Man's Sky, but at the same time, they are a tiny team.
I think it is to most games.
Yeah. But they're a tiny studio, and putting resources into crafting all those planets would be a crazy undertaking, which is why they don't exist really like that. This game has a huge explorable area. It's not a literal entire galaxy like No Man's Sky is. With billions upon billions of planets that you could stumble upon. But Todd Howard revealed that there's about 1,000 fully explorable worlds that you can land on at any spot. Does that mean there's going to be interesting shit all over all of them? Probably not. Some of them will probably be pretty barren.
Yeah.
There is a central story here. Bethesda's always tried to do the RPG thing, so that's another big differentiator from No Man's Sky. There are major and sprawling sci-fi cities that look pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, you're talking about exploring planets, finding outposts, doing missions. You can fight local flora and fauna. You can fight pirates and mercenaries who might be raiding like science bases and shit like that. And they were kind of touting like all the dialogue lines that had been recorded for this game and all the different shit that's going on. And you can customize and build the spaceship you fly in. All the parts are modular. Like you can literally build your starship yourself the way you want it. You can hire people to man your spaceship. You can build bases that are modular that look like a No Man's Sky building system. And you can hire people you've met along the way to maintain those bases for you. It literally is like an expansion of all the core concepts of No Man's Sky with like a realistic sheen on them. It doesn't look cartoony in the same way that No Man's Sky can sometimes, and with a proper story to it. So the promise of Starfield is my literal wet dream. What we get from it remains to be seen. There's a famous line when Todd Howard was revealing Skyrim for the first time, when he was like, see that mountain over there on the horizon? We can go to that mountain. It's not just a background piece. We can go to the top of that mountain. There's stuff beyond that mountain. And that became like a meme within like the gaming community.
Yeah.
He's offering a lot more here. He was like, the planet that has the huge city. You would think it would just be like a hub city and you would like fly out. He's like, no, like that's on this planet. And he zooms out. He's like, you can land on any other spot on that entire planet and explore and whatever. It's a huge fucking promise to make for a game. The footage was definitely running at 30 FPS. It was choppy as shit. Remains to, I don't know if it's going to be good, but they're promising the whole fucking farm, the whole kitchen sink. So, we'll have to see.
We shall see.
But again, really stroking my cock. I mean, they said like you explore some planets and then you get approached by a group called, I think it was Constellation, that like their whole thing is like, we explore humanity doesn't really explore new planets anymore, and they're trying to track down some mystery. So holy shit, got a boner. I'll never be able to do that in real life.
Can't do it.
I can do that in a game.
You could potentially
Next year sometime, unless they push it back and then it'll be somewhere else. Okay, last video before we get into main topics. I feel like we've been talking for 3 hours about these fucking videos. Vidges, which are then advertisements for video games. Diablo 4, right on the heels, and some would say they probably released Immortal to drum up love of Diablo.
It worked.
It did.
It totally worked.
Diablo 4, they released a developer showcase for it. They introduced the last playable launch class, which will be the Necromancer, who's in Immortal and some other recent installments. They've announced that Diablo 4 will be coming out in 2023. Have not given a release date yet, and they released this 5-minute developer gameplay showcase video. I'm looking forward to 4 a lot. Partially driven by Immortal, and remembering that gameplay loop is fun, but it's so different because, and this is going to devolve into a conversation about Immortal because we don't have a lot to talk about with 4, but I have some things to say about Immortal. I think 4 looks great. The visual style, they're pulling away from the more cartoony Diablo 3 version. This is a lot more dour.
It looks brutal. It looks like satanic and bloody and disgusting and like filthy. I fucking love it. It's like the grimiest looking one yet. It makes Diablo 3, which also has a lot of blood and nastiness in it, look like a kid's game. Like look
like a Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah. I love the aesthetic of 4.
They've announced that Diablo 4 will be open world, and that you will be able to go through the world kind of in whatever order you want. Now, will areas be level gated by higher level powerful monsters? Don't know yet. Sometimes Blizzard, in some of the WoW expansions, they will scale the zone you're in to you, so you can do them in any order, and it's always level appropriate. Who knows how it'll work? I actually kind of prefer, now that we've had both flavors throughout the years, the set levels. So you'll stumble into an area and be like, oh shit, I'm not supposed to be here yet. These guys fucking hurt. And then you got to go somewhere else. Yeah. I don't know why, but I do. And they showed, the gameplay looks sick. They showed there's like in this developer gameplay, there's world bosses that you can team up with people to fight. They look so super fucking cool. That was a really cool fucking thing. I'm ready for another Diablo game is what I'm saying. I played 3, but I didn't play a ton of Endgame. I got to Endgame and then kind of
that's about
fell
when
off.
it started to feel really repetitive by then.
Yeah. Honestly, the repetitive thing, like if the gameplay loop is fun, I don't mind the repetitiveness as much, at least for a little bit. But Diablo 3 came at a weird time for me where a couple of my friends were transitioning from playing on consoles to playing on PCs, and I bought it on console. I bought it on PC. The guys I was playing on PC with stopped playing. My friends who were on console were playing every day. I bought it on console, leveled up. The DLC came out. I didn't know which system to get it for. I just gave up and never got it.
Yeah.
Was a fun game. I am ready 100% with every cell in my body for Diablo 4.
So am I, and I want to suggest that when we're done with Rising, that maybe we do Diablo 2 Resurrected. Maybe, possibly.
Maybe. I tried to play Diablo 2, and the thing about that is it looks really good, but it still plays like an old game.
It did then, which wasn't great. Which is what I read about it when it came out, and I remember loving it when it came out. I think it's the first computer game I ever played, actually.
Oh shit.
I've been just curious enough to I don't know how much it is. Let me leave it at that. If it's 30, 40, not worth rolling the dice. But if it's a $10, $15 game, then sure.
Probably 30, 40. It's Blizzard.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the gameplay here looks really fucking cool. And
so good.
They said they've got something like 150 dungeons in the world so far that are all unique. I hope they really... I hope this like Blizzard is doubling down because of all the shit that's been happening, and they make this like their Elden Ring of Diablo, and it's just the fucking best thing on the world.
I imagine with the shared world and open world aspect of it, they're probably getting rid of the procedural generation. I mean, I hope.
Who knows? Who knows? I hope it's great. Every glimpse I've gotten of it so far has been great. They released a separate like Necromancer gameplay video earlier today that I didn't put in here. But that looks like just a lot of fun. And them talking about systems in the game that will have players coming back. You know, that much like 3, they had cycles. They would do seasons, Paragon levels, stuff like that. It just generates like endless content. It does all feel samey. I mean, there's only so many times you can kill red demons in stone ruins. You know what I mean? Like, but hey, if you like Diablo, 4 is going to give you a lot. And they've been distancing themselves from Immortal because Immortal's faced a ton of backlash over the microtransactions. And I'm here to be the actually guy in this situation and say that as much as I think that their microtransactions are predatory, I completely agree with that. I'm not arguing that they want you to gamble away money on loot boxes that may or may not contain the thing you want in an effort to make you spend money again and again and again. I get that. I think it's the scum of the earth. But the game itself, if you put no money into it, pretty solid gameplay loop. They allow me to do dungeons and bounties in like 10 to 15 minute fun little increments.
Taking a shit at work, boom, on the phone, then come home, play on the PC.
Yeah.
It's all synced up. It's beautiful.
They know what they're doing. They know that it's a mobile game, and that means people don't stare at their phones for hours. I did a raid today while I was taking a shit at work. It's like one huge boss fight, and then it's like a daily thing that I can do.
Yeah. I think that it's become one of those things that like amongst the gaming community, it's like a bandwagon thing too. Not that like everybody hates what like gotcha shit and freemium games, but it's like if the game is free, they have to make their money somehow. Just don't be the sucker that gives them money. My philosophy on Diablo Immortal is I haven't spent any money on it yet, and it's been a blast. And some people say like when you get about 20, 30 hours in, you'll hit a paywall. Okay. That's when I'll stop playing. I'll have gotten 20 to 30 hours out of a really fun game for free. Yeah, that's fine. That's win-win.
From what I can understand, the big hubbub is around paying money to like min-max. And I just, sorry, I think that sounds fucking dumb.
Yeah.
If the main game you play is a mobile game, maybe rethink life choices.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean that as insultingly as possible. So these people are like upset. I'm sorry. I know there's circumstances where some people can't have a gaming computer and this might be the only avenue. I get that completely. But there's like a gem system, and I guess the gems can be different quality, and you can have like up to a 5-star gem or something like that. And I'm so sorry. I've had a dry cough for like 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
I guess the only way to even get a chance at some of those gems is from these loot boxes, and even then you're not guaranteed to get them, and people did all these crazy calculations of how much money you'd have to spend in order to get all the best gear. And I'm like, I don't give a shit about that though. I'm playing a mobile game that's supposed to distract me for 15 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many hours I've put in so far, but it's probably close to 10.
Yeah. Just
from sitting on the couch on the weekends and here and there during the week at work or after hours. And I got a level 48 Necromancer. It's 60 base levels for the story, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not even done the story yet. Haven't been asked to spend a dime on anything.
Yeah.
If anything, the glut of daily shit that I could do has grown exponentially. I mean, when you hit 43, you unlock something called Dark Clans, and there's this faction war going on between the Immortals and the Shadows, and you have to pick a side, and there's a whole new avenue of like challenge levels to do.
Yeah.
I guess the general lore gist behind it is there are these immortal people that have powers to fight evil, but the Shadows are there to keep them in check, to make sure they don't become corrupt.
Yeah.
So like neither faction is evil.
Right.
But yeah, no, I think it's fine. I think if you want to play that game and not spend money, you'll have a great time. And if you want to play that game and spend money, that's up to you. But I think they're monetization in that game is pretty shitty, and they should definitely be called out on it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean,
how weak dick was it though? That I think it was earlier today. They like made an official announcement that was like, we promise Diablo 4 is going to be nothing like Diablo Immortal. It's like, are you throwing your game you just released a week ago under the bus for the sake of your next game for next year? Like,
fuck
oh my
it.
God.
No, that's strong dick shit. They're taking they're bandwagoning against themselves.
Yeah, they're like, we agree with you, actually. Yeah. Did that blow your mind? Buy our game. Buy it.
Yeah, which way's the wind blowing? We're going to go with you guys. Woo! Tricked you. Didn't see that coming, did you? All right. Last but not least, I subscribe to a lot of random YouTube channels, as most of us probably do. I should probably cull my list. One of them is Jack Frags. He's a British content creator. Came to fame for playing Battlefield mostly. He's a very talented player, but he's just personality. He's just a fun guy. I just like listening to. I imagine in real life we'd be good friends.
Maybe one day you will be.
Super, yeah. Hey, what's up, buddy? Hey, Jack. Shout out to Jack who followed him. I'm kidding. There's 3 people here. Anyway, he will sometimes demo new games, and I just happened to see a notification that he was playing this game called Metal Hellsinger. I checked it out, and within like 3 minutes of watching him play, I was like, I need to check this demo out right now. So I sent it to the boys in the group chat, aka Rat Chat TM. Mm-hmm. And
the little friends chat. I can't remember what you call it.
Yeah, I don't like that. Nope, don't like it. And Derek and I checked it out for today, and I'd like Derek to. I've been hogging so much of the fucking mic tonight.
I'd be happy to. I'm glad you have. I have a scratchy throat, so I'm glad you have. Metal Hellsinger.
Yeah.
Hellsinger.
Like Brian Singer, but not as rapey.
Holy shit.
Gotcha.
Got you, Brian. Is a first person shooter mixed with a rhythm game. So basically there's like a heavy metal soundtrack, and a lot of famous people in the metal scene helped with the soundtrack. You have Surge from System of a Down. You have the lead singer from Arch Enemy. You have the guitarist from Trivium who contributed to the soundtrack. It's all very like good music. Very good.
Brian Heafy, I think his name is.
I don't know. I hate him. Every time I see his face, I get angry. But he's a good guitarist. I can't deny it. He's just always like, if you want to be brutal like me, the lead singer of Trivium, buy a Schecter. I just hated all his ads.
No, he streams on Twitch. He seems like a really nice guy. I don't like his.
Don't break this for me.
I don't like his singing voice in the slightest. I don't like the Metallica sound, but he's a nasty guitarist.
Yeah,
1000%.
Really good. There's just no denying it. Anyway, so the way that it works is that you have a song going on in the background. And for every action that you do on beat with the sound, you do bonus damage, and that'll give you a combo multiplier that will like unlock more of the song. So you start off as a 0% multiplier, and it's just like a simple like dun 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 dun. And then once you get to 4 times combo multiplier, there'll be like drum fills, and then a little higher you get some vocals, you get some guitar solos, and by the time you get to max, which is 16 times. You just have this just like symphonic metal melody playing throughout the whole thing. It's done really fucking well. So basically you have your crosshairs in the middle of the screen like you do with any other shooter, but then you have these like white bars that are constantly coming in, like think like DDR, the way the like arrows come down. And then if you shoot right as that arrow lines up with this hollow arrow, you get the damage bonus. Even when you reload, you'll get
so satisfying.
Like a yellow one, and if you hit reload right on the yellow one a second time, you get a perfect reload, so you reload quicker. All of the sound engineering in this game is incredible. Because basically, like, you'll have when you do the perfect, like, shotgun reload, for instance, it's in beat with the song. So you have this, like, dun 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 dun, and when you do your reload, it'll go dun 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 dun. It's just like all very planned out very well. They have, I think, 2 level, a tutorial level and the first level with the first boss. But anyway, I've set it up. That's the basic setup of the game. I loved it. I like the whole time. I felt like an asshole because to stay on beat, I'm like headbanging to this game. But also, because the music is so good, you're kind of just headbanging anyway.
Yeah.
It feels like a lot like Doom Eternal, where you sort of got into a rhythm with that game, except now the point is specifically to get into an actual musical rhythm. So it's a very interesting take on the FPS.
I loved this game. I thought it was really cool. It doesn't hurt.
Do you need me?
Hey, Ron.
I might have to step away for a second here. I'm sorry.
Okay. It doesn't hurt. Well, I wanted him to hear this, but that's okay. I will talk about it anyway, and then he'll have a surprise, and he'll hear it later. I loved this game. I thought that it was wonderful. He's right insofar as whereas Doom Eternal tries to build this rhythm with the reload, the melee attack, the shotgun, the flamethrower, and that each of those things gives you a different like reward for accomplishing that. And they try to make like this a cyclical kind of what's the word I'm looking for? It's a cyclical rhythm. They try to like feed you in this gameplay loop. That's what I'm trying to get at. Where you're, constantly using all of the skills in your arsenal to complement the others. One gives you ammo, one gives you health, one gives you shields. This was like a very simplified but still extremely satisfying version of that. All they care about is that you're shooting things to the rhythm. And much like Derek said, like, because it's a rhythm game and there's fucking kick-ass metal playing, the song in the demo was incredible. There's a lovely clean melody chorus that's incredibly catchy, and that's from the Arch Enemy singer. And because it's so catchy, you're like trying to pull off headshots on the beat, spinning around, running from demons, and just fucking headbanging. You can't help yourself. It's incredibly fun. I've said incredibly fun way too many times, but Metal Hellsinger is actually been made by the publisher Funcom, and it releases September 15th, 2022. And now Derek will never know how I feel about it.
It's true. I'll never know. I never listen to these.
Even though I absolutely loved it, and that's all that I said was sing his praises.
Sorry, Odin is like really crying, and I think he's just cranky. But we were just standing outside the door like this, like because that helps. Listening.
Yeah.
So
sometimes Samantha and I will stare at his monitor from different angles as if it's going to help us see into the room better.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it really helps.
Try to like see to the floor by like going over this way.
Yeah. But I was saying, no, I mean, it looks incredible. I agree with your assessment that it's almost like a simplified version of the Doom Eternal rhythm. They try to get you in to utilize different skills, where this is literally just stay on this beat and you'll be rewarded for doing so. And the music was so kick-ass that I couldn't help but like, I'm swinging around, taking shots, trying to pull off headshots. The pistols were my favorite weapon.
Yeah, me too. They were excellent.
And because you're just like, koosh, 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 koosh. And then you hit that reload and it in one cycle. Very exciting. The boss fight was fun because not only was it a big boss fight set to this rhythm, but just like the little reticles, the little lines coming into the reticle in the center show you like almost like a Guitar Hero kind of riff track. The boss also on the beat will throw objects at you. Like the boss
kind of turns
like
into bullet hell a little bit.
Right. The boss threw like a thing you have to jump over and then one that you have to jump forward through, but you're still trying to shoot on the beat. Just very, very satisfying. Very fun rhythm FPS, they're calling it. And I can't wait for it to come out.
Yeah, same. I wonder if they'll do different time signatures in the completed game. I imagine they're not all going to be in 4:4. So
there's a couple times like legitimately caught myself headbanging and hitting headshots and like smirking like an idiot. It just felt really good. Can't wait. I'm super looking forward to that. So big suggest from us. The demo's free on Steam right now. Go download it, please. It's super fun. It takes like 15 to 20 minutes to play through the whole thing. It's free. You won't regret it. Super duper fun. All right. Main topics. Let's cruise through these because we're running long again. As per usual, the boys is ready to log. I don't know what that was. What order would you like to go in? Obi-Wan, the boys, Miss Marvel, Morbius.
I want to do Morbius.
Okay.
Obi-Wan.
Okay.
Miss Marvel, the boys.
Okay. I like it. Morbius first. I have a big shocking thing to tell you.
Okay. Tell me.
this movie's not as bad as everyone said it was.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not good. It's not a good film.
Listen, that's the exact same way that I feel about it. It is.
Oh, really?
It is precisely how I feel about it.
Oh, that's so nice.
So I'm not. All right. Here's what irks me. I'm gonna get a little snooty here for a second. I'm gonna fire my load and then I'm gonna be done.
You're like the snoods.
I'm the snoods. Exactly.
That was a riff on the crudes.
You're right.
Oh, thank you. Got me again. Oh, shucks.
This movie was bad. It was like the lowest form of entertainment there is, but there's nothing wrong with enjoying low forms of entertainment. What's surprising to me is this. I don't disagree with people who are saying it's bad. What's surprising to me is this, and this is where I'm going to lose you. I feel like this movie was only like marginally less bad, still less bad, but only marginally less bad than 85% of MCU movies. So the fact that there's so many Marvel fans who like can watch a movie like The Winter Soldier or like whatever, the first Avenger.
See, that's where you lost me.
And I knew I was going to. But the fact that people can watch those movies and somehow they're like they went to film school or like they were studied under a famous film critic or something, and then like go over to this and act like it's just complete trash is like beyond me. I'm like, all right, it's worse than those movies. If I had to pick between Morbius and Winter Soldier, I'm going to watch Winter Soldier. But it wasn't that much worse. It was just a little bit worse. The most annoying part about this movie is that Jared Leto is in it. That's it. But it's still like, it's a dumb storyline. It's a meaningless storyline strung together by meaningless dialogue with like somewhat exciting action shots. That's like most Marvel movies. I don't understand why Marvel fanboys think that they've like found their thing to finally dunk on. You really haven't. Like it's almost in the same category. It's not, but almost.
Here's the thing. When you said, I'm going to lose you, and you said, it's not that much worse than like 85% of most Marvel stuff. I agree with that because but the example you gave, I disagree heavily with. I think Winter Soldier is a great film. It's still one of my favorite MCU films. I don't know why. I just love that movie a lot. If you had said Ant-Man as an example, 1,000% agree.
Right.
Did I enjoy Ant-Man? Yes. Will I ever watch it again? Definitely not.
Yeah.
Would I ever recommend it to anybody? It's
yeah.
Do you want to know everything that happens in the MCU? You should probably watch it. Do you not care? Skip it. It's not a great movie. It has funny moments in it, but it's not a great film. And I remember, here's the issue. I waited so long to watch Morbius that I've seen weeks and weeks of memes and shit talking on it, and the Morbin time and all the Twitch shit, and then Sony getting fucking trolled to put it back in theaters.
Yeah.
By the time I saw it, I'm expecting like the unironic toxic Avenger, like the worst superhero thing I could think of, and it wasn't that bad.
No.
This movie was on par for me with Venom.
Yeah.
But like Venom for some reason got the optimistic end of the stick, whereas this one got shit on. This movie's not great. It tells a super generic story.
Yeah.
It's so fucking obvious that childhood friend is going to turn out to be the bad guy. And guess what? Childhood friend's also just a bad version of the hero. Same fucking thing they did in Venom. Well, it's not childhood friend in Venom, but the bad guy's just an evil version of the good guy.
Yeah.
The same thing they do in, guess what, boys? Iron Man. Ant-Man. It happens all the time. Yeah. Hulk. They do the same shit all the time. Is there stupid shit in this? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole time I'm watching it, I'm sitting here going, this isn't that bad.
Yeah, that's what, like, I put it on, and like, of course there are parts that I chuckled because it's dumb, but like those parts are in any action movie, any blockbuster. Like I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's a good movie. I want to be clear about something.
No,
I'm not saying I was surprised by how good it was. I was surprised that it was not nearly as bad as people made it out to be.
Yeah, it was not nearly the train wreck I was led to believe is basically whenever someone gets into a car accident and they're like, and you're like, how bad is it? And they're like, it's totally fucked. And then you see it and like just the bumpers scuffed. Yeah. That's Morbius.
You're like, you overreacted. Yeah.
Yeah. You're like, I still wouldn't recommend you getting in an accident, but if you had to, this was the best outcome.
Yeah. It does like beg the question, like why did Jared Leto what was he method acting exactly?
Right.
Just to
Was
talk like this in every scene. Like, wow, you really had to get into character for that, huh?
No, he just went to go visit a lot of kids in hospitals. That was his. Sorry, that has dark connotations. Moving on from Morbius. If that movie got a sequel, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
It's like if Venom could get a sequel, Morbius can get a sequel.
Yeah.
It's really not. Anyway, I was surprised at how not a train wreck it was after everyone talked shit. I said that already. I'm repeating myself. All right, next up, you said Obi-Wan?
Obi-Wan. Yes. Yeah. Obi-Wan.
Okay, real quick. Because we're just doing new episodes. This is where he breaks into the Fortress Inquisitorius and saves Leia. I have to say this is unfortunately probably my least favorite episode of the series.
Mm-hmm.
And that surprised me because when I realized what they were going to do, I thought it was going to be like super exciting. And there were some cool things in this episode for me personally. As you can imagine, there are a lot of Easter eggs in that Jedi tomb at the bottom of Fortress Inquisitorius.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of direct nods to Fallen Order because of where this takes place. And the crack in the window when he's holding the water out literally is what stopped Vader in the game. But there was a lot of Scooby-Doo shit in this episode. And I know Star Wars has a reputation for being silly, but putting her under an overcoat to walk through a busy military base
where people are actively looking for you.
Yeah, it was just too far for me. Yeah. I was like, that's really dumb.
Yeah.
And I know the Star Wars, let us not forget Jar Jar Binks and other very bad choices Star Wars movies have made over the years. It just felt like the tone of this is so much like more serious, like this prison break and there was some genuine tension of whether she was going to get caught. Yeah. And the Empire's security has always been made fun of as being a joke, and it really is. But there was a little bit of tension here, some cool Easter eggs. Ultimately, I just it was a cool nod to see the snow speeders pop up, as that's a very famous Star Wars ship. Ultimately, I just want episode 5 to be better, and I hope that it is. This one disappointed me.
Yeah. I think it was an overall mid episode that had some good things that happened in it. Like we're seeing Obi-Wan like get the rust off a little bit. So like
I'm sorry, yeah, you're right. I didn't mention that, but please take the reins.
Part where he's like holding, as you said, like the water in from coming in and then sort of sends like a crack down to like get the other guys immersed in the water so that he could get out. I just thought that was really cool. We see him like using his lightsaber more, where he was a little more wary of doing so beforehand. There's like a part where he looks at Leia and he smiles, and you see sort of like the Obi-Wan that we know for the first time probably in the whole series. Where he goes like, I did it. Like I maybe I can do this, you know? So that was nice. But I agree that overwhelmingly it was a pretty boring episode. I did cheer out loud for the only time in this entire series so far when he did the force thing across the window. I just like, so that's the kind of shit I'm talking about with the last episode when I said I would have liked to see him do some tricky shit. That's the kind of tricky shit that I like. Like rather than just like force push them into a wall and then run away. Yeah. I just thought it was cool that he like used, you know, I don't know. It was just an interesting way to use the force push.
What we know of Obi-Wan, he's literally one of the most talented Jedi in the galaxy. Yeah. Like not just at present time, but he was like revered in the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
For being this really great Jedi combatant and being great with the lightsaber and being great with the Force. You know, Anakin unironically said he's as wise as Master Yoda, and as strong as Master Windu in combat or something like that. Like he's considered a great Jedi. And I'm so glad you brought up the scene because I was a little more negative than I wished I had been about my. I don't feel any differently about it.
No, it was absolutely like kind of a mid episode.
It was a letdown, 100%. Yeah, I mean, definitely a letdown. But there was a great bit of visual storytelling in the scene where he's surrounded by stormtroopers because at first he's like nervous, almost like nervously blocking shots, and he's getting them. He's fine, but he seems a little rusty. And as the fight progresses, he gets cockier, and then he flicks the crack down the window, and then one of the last shots he deflects, he's like like behind the back, and it hits the guy, and I was like, whoo!
Yeah.
I got my peen a little hard, and I really miss that Obi-Wan, and I hope episode 5 continues that upward trajectory for him. It's going to have to, if he's going to win his second confrontation with Vader. He's going to have to recenter himself. We're probably going to get to see Qui-Gon, which will make me probably cry like a child. I know that you have not as fond thoughts about Qui-Gon as I do, but I love that guy. And
not a big Qui-Gon guy.
I love Ewan McGregor, and I want the show to ultimately, this show was supposed to be a movie. It got changed to a TV show after Han Solo didn't do very well and got reworked. And I think this show suffers from that.
I think it does too.
Because whereas some Star Wars shows have, like Mando, have really leaned into and benefited from the episodic nature of a TV show, Obi-Wan has suffered from it.
It feels like they have to fill out time.
Yeah.
And so like long format doesn't always work, for that reason. Like if you don't have a long story to tell, it shouldn't be long format.
Right.
I was actually thinking the same thing. It would have worked better as like a 2-hour, 15-minute movie rather than like a 6-hour show.
Yeah. 100%. And I think that was a mistake. And at least, at the very least, I don't think the episodes have done a good job of taking advantage of that format. But anyway, middling episode, not super great. I wouldn't say it's the worst thing on the planet, but the show's not. If the show ended right now, I would say the show overall was disappointing. Hopefully, I'm really rooting for 5 and 6 because I love Ewan McGregor, and I know a lot of fans have deep love of like Hayden Christensen and his return to the character. And there's kind of a redemption in that. And the shots of him in the tank and in the suit we've gotten so far have been terrifying. So I hope that he gets a shot. But okay, moving on. Miss Marvel.
Here we are.
There's how can I describe this? This is a Marvel show that feels like it should have aired on the Freeform channel.
Someone tried to log into my Facebook from Pittsburgh, Kansas.
Pittsburgh, Kansas? Did they just make that up?
Yeah, I guess so. This is not me.
Oh, well, they did not succeed, so that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Thanks, Facebook, for asking. Good job, you. Good job, Facebook, you.
Way to go, you.
You little robots getting the task correct. They're probably going to tell you to change your password. Oh, my God.
Doing right now.
Huge spider just crawled across my light.
I'm glad it's with you and not with me.
Samantha does not like to kill them. And I'll kill them every chance I get. I'll murder all of them. Anyway, that's my tagline for the show. My tagline is, this feels like a Marvel show that should have aired on the Freeform channel. The writing is cringy.
Quite.
So here's my thing. And I'm gonna keep reiterating the phrase, it's a Marvel show that should have aired on the Freeform channel, because that's exactly what it felt like to me. I think the main actor who's playing Kamala Khan is charming enough, but so here's what I mean when I say Freeform channel. A lot of the conversations and dialogue feel what I call like real enough or clever enough. But then the conversations always last too long. Like they'll say a thing and I'll go, haha, that's funny. Haha, teenage girl might say that. And then there like 2 or 3 lines will happen after that I'm like, that feels just like made for TV. I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah.
There's a scene in the first episode where her parents don't want her to go to AvengerCon, and her older brother talks them into it. And then her father and mother come into the room, and her father is painted green and insanely overacting his fake Hulk thing, to the point where I'm like, stop.
Yeah.
You've screamed at your daughter at top volume like 7 times now. And she's already, like, if you look at her face, you can tell she's grossly disappointed. Like, why are you still doing it? If I can tell and it's like everything felt like it just lasted too long conversationally, to the point where it became fake feeling to me.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to describe it. Like a lot of those, I hope it gets better, because right now I don't like it at all. Her powers visually are interesting. I don't know if they will continue to be cool or whatever. There's a really cool dichotomy. I don't know how you feel about Miss Marvel, and I will ask you in just a second, but there's a super cool dichotomy between the way Miss Marvel and the boys are depicting hero worship and it's very fun for me that they're airing at the same time. And we'll talk about it more after you tell me how much you also didn't like it.
Yeah, well, because I didn't. I mean, I didn't.
I know you didn't like it.
Here's the thing that's like when a show comes out like this, and there are so many people who dislike it for the wrong reasons. There are people who like are calling it woke just because it's about a Muslim character and showing Muslim culture. And someone had told me that I guess she's gay or something. I don't know if that's going to be in the show. I don't think that was insinuated in the first episode, but
I don't know.
None of these things contribute to why this show is bad. It's just a bad show. I think like I want to reel it in just a little bit because it feels like it's geared towards kids. And so I don't want to act like if it's not for me, then I shouldn't complain too much. But it's just you kind of said all the issues that I had with it. She has these conversations with her mom that feel like for a minute you feel bad because you can see that her mom does care about her and loves her, but just doesn't understand her well enough to show support in the right way. So she shows it in the wrong way. But then it's like, just gets to a point where you're like, oh my God, go to the next thing. Like, we get it. The mom, not a bad person, but not supportive. We get it. Like, go to the next thing.
Yeah.
It just hangs on things for way too long. The thing that really offends me about this show is that I saw an article today, like that was an interview with the creator that was like how whatever their name is pulled off doing a live action Into the Spider-Verse. I was like, no. Don't you dare think that you are even in the same league as Into the Spider-Verse. It's not even close. I understand what they mean. It's sort of comic booky with like the shit popping up here and there, but no. If anything, it's Scott Pilgrim, but somehow worse Scott Pilgrim.
Ouch.
No, I'm just kidding. I actually like Scott Pilgrim. It's just cool to not like it. I don't know why, but like I think it's a great movie. Anyway, no, it just wasn't good. This is a big old reinforcement of the 2-episode rule because I actually fell asleep during like multiple like 3-minute segments of this episode. And all week I was like, all right, I'm going to go back and rewatch it. And I could not bring myself to do it. Like it just wasn't. I got all the main story beats. I know what happened, but it just didn't do it for me. So if the next one ain't good, I am cutting the cord on this one. But please, I'm actually curious to see. I don't know. Did you want to talk about The Boys first and then talk about the comparison? Or
well, no, because the Boys has, and yeah, we'll use it as a segue. The Boys has been peddling this narrative since season 1, so it's not really like something I should wait until after. And also, now that we're officially in that wheelhouse, The Boys has officially been announced for season 4.
Yeah.
Whoop whoop. Whoop whoop. Whoop whoop. Whoop whoop. Dark Carnival.
Oh no.
Whoop whoop. Anyway, it's just interesting. So Miss Marvel, it's this article that I found nailed something for me, which is that Miss Marvel is the child version, and the glossy neoprene cover where everything is rosy and great version of hero worship. Like, she looks up to these people; they can do no wrong. They are the paragons of virtue and right and everything good in the world. And we all know people aren't like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Abraham Lincoln said some off-color shit in his life. You know what I mean? Like not everybody is a straight shoot. I mean, it's almost offensive to have them so one-dimensional. And we actually know from watching the other Marvel films that these are not people to have an unadulterated hero worship of sometimes. And I think it's so interesting that like Miss Marvel has this young woman who's obsessed with Captain Marvel. And maybe they'll touch on it when they meet in the Marvels, which is going to be the sequel to Captain Marvel that includes Miss Marvel and Photon, or whatever they're going to end up calling her. What's her name? Character name? Oh no, it's right there.
I know it's.
Oh no,
it's inside my mouth.
Oh no, it's killing. Rambeau, Monica Rambeau.
Monica Rambeau.
Whew, that was gonna kill me. I was gonna die.
All I was gonna say was, I'm like, it's a really cool name. I just can't. Just can't remember what it is.
Yeah, like Rambo but French, and then Monica. Anyway, I don't know. Whereas Miss Marvel's painting this like positive hero worship, the boys is doing the inverse. They're doing the cynical. These people are not people you should look up to.
Yeah.
Everything is being sold to you. This is all propaganda. And I just having them air back to back almost makes Miss Marvel just seem even that much more childish to me. And I think it's at least ever so slightly altering my view of it, I think, for the worse. And that's not to say that I wouldn't still dislike Miss Marvel without it, but having the boys air simultaneously, I'm like, it seems like it makes Miss Marvel seem shallow to me.
Yeah.
And maybe that's fucked up, but like, here's the thing. We didn't talk, you touched on it briefly. Miss Marvel's been getting review bombed by some really disgusting fucking people. And I just wanted to be super duper clear that those stupid motherfucker asshole incel dickheads who live in their mom's basement and shout hateful, nasty shit at a young actor who's portraying a character from a comic book and doing a fine job. She's fine. She's doing a good job. I just don't like the show. I don't like the feel of the show. I don't like the writing of the dialogue. I hope it gets better, but even if it doesn't, the shit online about her is horrendous and no one should ever be proud of themselves for that. I just didn't like the show.
Yeah.
Whereas The Boys, episode 4, just continues its upward trajectory of being fucking amazing by doing exactly what Derek hoped they would do and starting the downward fall of Huey as a character who has now basically become a fucking heroin addict for temporary V with a hilarious power of teleporting short distances, but it also takes his clothes away and now he's naked. They introduced Jensen Ackles, fucking Captain America. What's his fucking goddamn it?
Soldier Boy.
And we see an inkling of what the idea here might be. It looks like the Russians had him and were doing tests on him.
They were touching him.
And now whatever this BCL red shit is that they were looking for that could kill, I think it's just a part of him.
Yeah.
Because as we saw, heavy spoiler alert, he shoots Kimiko. She better not fucking die.
She's not.
She's
not dead.
She gets injured and she doesn't heal. So it looks like it either temporarily or permanently sucks away someone's powers. So you hit Homelander with that, and then maybe what's her name does a little head pop in action.
Yeah.
Homelander's gone, baby. I don't know. I loved episode 4 of The Boys. It continued being wonderful for me. I thought that the angle of like they let Butcher. Oh man, he's written so fucking well because sometimes he's a complete asshole, and sometimes he's a sweetie, and sometimes he's just a fucking pragmatist. He's talking to to MM, and he's basically like, this is what I do for the group. Like, I'm the asshole who gives the orders that need to be given, and you're the one that makes sure that they're taken care of, or more or less. I'm paraphrasing a lot, and he's like, that's how it goes. Like, he's got this realistic view of their interaction, their group dynamic. But he still has these tender moments with Huey where Huey's like, this whole thing of feeling useless around Starlight is bubbling to the surface. And he finds out Butcher has this temporary V, and he's like, come on, man, let me try it. And like the allegories to like heroin are instantly obvious. I mean, if for nothing else, then you have to shoot it up into a fucking vein in your arm. He's like, come on, let me try it. And he tells him how powerless he feels. And Butcher, to his credit, is like, mate, this is a poison. Like, you don't want this. I've got nothing. And he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, you've got the kid and you're protecting him. And he's like, no, he won't give it to him. And then he steals it anyway. I'm rambling though. How'd you feel about episode 4?
So there were things that I didn't like about it, and I'm going to get them out of the way before I suck its dick. Yeah. And they're probably nitpicky. I don't like, I feel like, all right, so every season you have to have some kind of like growth, like some kind of arc that each individual character is going through that like ties into what's happening overall. I understand that. Sometimes I feel like not just with this show, but with any show, you get some characters who you do it right with and others that it's not so much. So you're right. They did with Huey what I wanted to happen. He's doing it. He's trying to conform, or not conform, submit rather. Like, all right, we're going to do it the down and dirty way. We're just going to get it done.
Right.
But then conversely, you have Kimiko and Frenchie who are like, we need to escape this life. And not that like her specific story is not believable, but I feel like Frenchie's is less so. Like,
right.
He's just sort of it's like he's in her sidecar or something. It just doesn't feel genuine to me. It just feels like they didn't know what to do with him, so they just tacked him onto her thing. So there was that great scene, like you said, where Butcher talks with MM and says, he basically, without saying it, says like, you're the real leader. Like, I just say the orders, but you keep this team together. Like, you keep everything moving. You keep us a unit. And I thought it like sent goosebumps all over me. Like, it was just like such a tender, awesome moment. And then there's this like, shit just goes wrong on the mission. And then in the van, in the last shot of the episode, MM goes like, oh, you want me to keep this team together? There's nothing left to keep together, and it's because of you. And I'm like, I felt like that was the wrong move to make. I felt like it diminished the scene where he said, like, that's why I chose you, because you have this ability. Because it was essentially, in my eyes, and, tell me if you disagree, was he just told MM, like, this is why I have you here. And then MM showed that he is not prepared to do that thing that he said. He's like, lets everything fall apart just because he's angry. I don't know. It just felt like it felt like incongruent. Like they had this great setup, and then it just felt squandered by a couple scenes later.
I see what you're saying, and while it can be narratively disappointing that it didn't play out like that, it didn't bother me because sure, that's Butcher's idea of the group, but MM is going through a ton of emotions with especially Soldier Boy being involved. And you saw, his face when Soldier Boy came out of the thing. And I think it's like Butcher is leaning on you to try and be this group thing, but he's dealing with so much of his own that he was like, that just because you say that this is what I am doesn't mean I'm up to the task of doing it. So like, I get what you're saying. But I also was kind of glad because like the darkest, shittiest shot of the entire series so far is Huey hanging out the window looking like he's high on drugs, covered in blood.
So that's what I was going to say. It does lean into what I think was the overall message of this episode, which I thought was excellent. And it's that, in the end, we see Homelander with Starlight. He killed Alex.
Oh,
and he's
man.
like, from now on, no more games, no more plots, no more blah, 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 or I'll do that to Huey. And so I think the theme of this was like, like power is power. Like you can think you have some chance against me, but ultimately, like I am the one that's in control. Hopelessness was sort of like the theme of it. And so it does tie into it because like, even though like I've been asking for Huey to man, that's a bad term for it, but man up and just like fucking, like be one of the boys and be like Butcher. Like it took hunger for power for him to do that, which is what drove Butcher to do so, to take the V. So like the same thing that we're criticizing Homelander for, now our protagonists are doing as well.
Right. It muddies the fucking water.
Right. So I can see how I'm glad you countered that because it made me think about it more. So I can see how MM would look at them taking V and go like, you guys are what we're fighting now. Like you've gone off the deep end. This is no longer, us versus them. You guys are a part of them. I will say this though, and this is my final thought. I love that we're seeing. I feel like there's never been an antag that's been more fleshed out than Homelander in television history. Like ever, maybe. Like he's so you almost root for him more than anyone else. He goes through more like character development. You're not rooting for him, but you're excited to see how much more deranged and demented he's going to get. He's the most exciting character, I guess. Is the best way to put it.
I did not expect for that guy to be dead.
And I think that's the point. Like I think that they wanted you to think with the first 3 episodes, like we have a plan. There's like hope here. We're gonna get this guy. There's finally something we can. And then the end of this episode, he's like, yeah, if you do anything else, your boyfriend's dead. And you see Starlight just like with this total look. She was not putting on a show for him to later go and plot. She was like, all right, you're right. I'm done. I'm out.
To make a horrible pun, the light literally went out from her eyes. I mean, we even touched on the fact that they've been very ever so slightly trying to turn A-Train into a likable character that we feel bad and root for. And they make the Kendall Jenner fucking Pepsi commercial parody, which was so choice.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's the perfect example of modern satire for me.
Yeah.
And then at the end, ultimately, he just wants to get back in.
That's
and
what
the
I'm
good
saying.
graces.
He caves to power. He chooses the side of power. I think that power struggle was the theme of this episode, and it was
and
how horrifying and just overbearing it can be, and how helpless you can feel underneath it.
Yeah, and it just goes to prove loose lips sink ships. Shouldn't have said anything to A-Train. It's also the title of a brand new lyric, I think. I don't fucking know. Anyway, all right. Yeah, no, I really, I can't think of another show that for so far 3 seasons straight I have found almost no flaws in. There was some issues.
Active show on TV right now.
There were some issues in season 2 storytelling wise, but overall I still loved season 2. I still loved all the character development of season 2. This show is just so good. Every week it gets better and better. It hasn't disappointed me so far, and I hope that it doesn't. I think they've been doing fucking.
Oh, and Stan Edgar's fucking massive nuts.
Oh yeah,
you're not a god. You're just bad product. Oh my god, that fucking line was so good.
Was waiting for Homelander to just murder him.
Yeah,
and I thought Edgar was egging him on to try and get him to do that. Because it would have been right on the heels of him going, you're gonna regret this because now I'm not here to cover your ass anymore. And I thought poetically Homelander was gonna freak out and kill him, and then quickly realize he needed him to cover his ass.
Yeah.
But no, he just lets. He says he was like, I used to be intimidated by you, and in my head I'm like, you still seem like you kind of are because you've got this mommy milkers complex. Yeah. And parental figures that you never had. So you might be afraid of him, but it's like the drunk father that you're scared to speak up around. You know what I mean? I did not see the betrayal coming.
Me neither.
Which
is crazy. We should have, right? Probably should have.
That's another good character arc. I forget.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking about A-Train. You're talking about Victoria, I think her name is. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a shock.
Didn't see that betrayal coming to Stan Edgar's character again because they've been building up their close-knit relationship with it, and I also
he was,
didn't
proud of her for doing it too.
Yeah,
that was so
and then
she's another just incredibly written character.
Yeah, and then on top of that, initially we're introduced to her last season, and she's the head popper, and we just think, oh, she's evil, and then she's just everyone's got so many layers.
Yeah,
she's just looking out for her is it her younger sister?
I think it's her daughter. And someone in relation to her she cares deeply about. And you think she's just trying to make sure she's protected. No, in her twisted mind, the only way to protect her is to give her Compound V so she gets her own powers and can stand up for herself. So she trades I forgot about that. That was
she trades the betrayal of Stan Edgar for the formula for V and injects her, and she's like, it'll be okay. And then she starts screaming in pain as her body starts to mutate. Every character has so much fun. I love it. Every character has so much depth.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the next episode to come out.
People were saying that they think that Stan Edgar, the reason that he's so calm around Homelander is that they think that he secretly has superpowers. And I'm like, personally, that would ruin his character for me.
Yeah, I would hate that.
I think the whole thing that makes him so badass is that he's like, oh, your superpowers? That's just a tool that I use. That's not power. I have power. You're just a thing to me.
He called Homelander bad product to his fucking face and is alive. I love it, dude.
Yeah, it's a great show. It's the best show on TV right now. It's really good.
It just keeps getting better and better. But that's it. It's 2 hours. We've been running long as hell.
We gotta cut it.
It's late as fuck. It's 10:30 here. We're old men. That's gonna wrap it up. Where can everybody find you on the internet?
You could find me on Twitch and Twitter. You can find me at either of those sites.
Okay.
At the username Dr. Gloom MD. If you're wondering how that's spelled, it's D as in David, R as in Rodrigo, G as in great, L as in luego, O as in O as in ooh. M as in mooch. Another M as in moolah. D as in dick. Dr. Gloom MD.
You could have said MMD as in, or you could have said MM as in MM from The Boys. That would have been a good tie-in.
Mother's milk.
You can find me on Twitch and Twitter, although lately it's just been Twitter. At TCN Plays. I will not do the phonetic spellings and military alphabet versions of what Deratio did. I have not been streaming at all lately. I will be starting again soon. It's just been a roundhouse of sickness kicks to the face around this household. I know, your son was sick for a while, but
yeah,
I had a really nasty sinus infection. My son was sick this past week. It's like, we can't get you breaking. And honestly, it's just exhausting, but no excuses. We'll be back up on a horse soon. V Rising is super duper fun. We still didn't really talk in depth about it, but it's not really a game I think I should be streaming.
Yeah.
I'm getting quite far in Fallen Order. How far are you?
I haven't played because I've really been into RE2 and 3-make, and I'm not as into 3-make as I was into 2-make.
Told you.
But it's not that it's bad.
No, it's not. The gameplay is basically the same. It's
almost
fun.
Exactly the same. It's the pacing of it that I don't like. I don't mind the length. It doesn't bother. I bought it for like $5, so I don't care.
That's what she said.
It's really like, obviously with 2, I know we're trying to wrap up here. I know with 2, you have the dual campaign thing. You do Leon's and then you do Claire's, so you kind of have like double the amount.
Double the fun.
But like Jill's campaign seems to be at least as long as one of those, so like I'm not mad about that. But I just liked 2 better. It was more like methodical. It was I don't know how to describe it. It
had room to breathe.
You're rushing through 3 because you're constantly running from this fucking guy. It's just not. It's not bad. I just don't like it quite as much.
I've mentioned that I think it's a little too short before. I'll see how you feel about it when you finish it up. When you finish her on up, there are a couple segments in Fallen Order that I feel like are grueling because the meditation spots are so far apart.
Yeah.
But oh boy, does it give you that Dark Souls fucking shot of
when you get through it, right?
Oh, it's so good. Yeah. It's like
once I'm done
adrenaline.
3-make, I'll pick it back up.
Couple segments are just so juice, especially. I'll tell you about it later because I don't want to spoil anything. But I found something new in this playthrough. Even though I played it twice previously, that I didn't know existed, or at least I had forgotten completely and now rediscovered. So we'll talk about it when you play further.
Toy.
Yeah, we gotta go. It's getting late. We'll see you next week for stuff and things. I watched the massive.
I'll watch it.
Yeah. The new Nick Cage movie with talent and shit. I sent Derek a crying picture of myself. It's so stupid because the scene itself is not over the top emotional. It just hit me in a certain way. But I won't talk about my thoughts on the movie. But you should definitely watch it.
I'm gonna do it.
Okay. Obi-Wan episode 5, Boys, season or episode 5, Miss Marvel episode 2, maybe the last time we talk about that. And massive weight of unbearable talent, and we'll see you next week.
See you then.
Bye.